check. Mic check. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. Sorry for the late start, but in all fairness, if you were here on Wednesday, I warned you that we would be late on Friday. So here we are, late on Friday, late most days. But what would we do if I was on time? How would you even react to that? I feel like at this point I have no choice but to be late each and every day. But thanks for being here, guys. Last day of the work week for a lot of you. Happy for a lot of you. Happy for me. Happy for Jen. Good morning, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, happy day.
I got a phone call from Jennifer yesterday. Genevieve. I can't remember. Do you prefer Genevieve? Where did we land
Whatever.
on
It doesn't even matter anymore.
Just whatever.
Just fuck it all.
MAGA Jen is what we will call you. What time was that call? It was a very unusual time for the call. Let's see. It was at 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, 7 o'clock at night. I get a call from Jen, which never happens. Jen's not a caller. Jen's a texter. She'll text me 3 or 4 times. If it's urgent, then she'll call and say, check your texts. So I knew last night when I got a phone call from Jen that that something was up. And Jen started the phone call with, fuck my life. That's how we started things last night. And Jen's had some fun dates. Jen decided to go out. I think we talked about it?
Yeah,
it was Peepaw?
we talked. Yeah, we talked about Peepaw yesterday.
So Jen went to an early bird date with Peepaw last night. And I guess Jen just... where did you go?
We went to a chain restaurant that had happy hour.
I was close on Applebee's. I guessed
Applebee's.
It
was close, sure.
Fridays?
Yeah, I don't know how local this place is.
Okay. So you were being careful with that. Okay. I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So they went to a happy hour. What time? 4:30?
We met at 5.
5.
We met at 5.
And well, Jen, why don't you just take us through the events of the evening?
It was like I was debating the dumbest MAGA that we've ever seen in this fucking app.
How did it start? Did you get there first? Did he get there first?
He got there first. Fun fact, I mean, unlike the show where I'm on time, I'm 5 or 10 minutes late automatically.
Got it.
For things in real life.
So you show up. We're going to call him Terry. And Terry, what's Terry wearing?
He's wearing like some shorts, like some khaki shorts, and like a golfing t-shirt, kind of.
Wait, a golf t-shirt? What's a golf t-shirt?
Kind of like a moisture wick type shirt, I guess. Like
a shirt you would wear to stay cool.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he didn't look terrible. He didn't look bad.
Okay.
Shoes? I mean, some kind of boat shoe. I don't remember exactly.
Who said that? Brandon said boat shoes. Was he wearing he was wearing Hey Dudes for sure, right?
Probably. It was something along those lines. Okay. Yeah.
So Hey Dudes.
Something along those lines.
Cargo shorts or like golf shorts?
Probably more golf shorts. I don't think these were cargo shorts. I don't.
You didn't check the pockets.
No, definitely not.
Listen, I'm not offended by golf shirts, but I'm not wearing a golf shirt on the first date. I'm a horrific. I actually
you don't look terrible, but
I purposely don't dress my best on a first date. I don't want to set the bar high because I don't dress well. So I
guess that's fair.
I find like a medium outfit for a first date.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like I said, he didn't look like crappy or anything. He didn't look terrible, I guess. But I mean, he definitely looked like a weathered 55. He didn't look like he had
not a lot of lotion or sunscreen.
He wasn't younger looking, I guess we could say. I
Okay.
mean, because I've seen some very attractive 55 plus men, but he just was. It was a meh,
Okay.
a meh.
So you get there, he's sitting at the bar at a table,
We got a high top table in the bar.
high top table at the bar. Okay. And
So
how long before you thought, oh, fuck?
almost instantly.
All right. How did it happen?
I'm trying to it was so much, like so much. I don't even remember exactly how it came up. Um, he brought up. I'm trying to remember how he brought it up
While
because I
you think
told him
about
about the
while you
show.
think about that, I'm sorry for everybody I offended about hey dudes. It's just it's stereotype. Hey dudes are very comfortable. I don't have any, but I've had hey dudes. They're very comfortable. I'm sure they're stylish. Nobody should be offended that I'm mocking style. You see how I dress. I dress like shit. So we're good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, he was just like, in a lot of ways. So my dad dresses. I mean, my dad doesn't dress back. I think my dad's like decent shape and all that, but he reminded me of my dad. Like how he looked reminded me of my father.
Daddy issues.
Um,
Gotcha.
no, my dad's
Yours.
solid
It's true. Your
and all
mommy
that.
issues. That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, more mom based than dad. So I don't remember exactly how it came up. I'm trying to think that more or less he's an Elon Musk simp. I don't remember how exactly we got there. It was like he brought it up. Like I try to stay away from some of the political topics or political things,
Yeah.
and like right away. But like he dove right in, and he was talking about how Elon Musk, he read the biographies of him, and that he, how he came from nothing, and how he, um, all kinds of shit like about Elon and how he's so involved. And I'm like, you can't be serious. I'm like, you realize his family has ownership in a emerald mine, right? And you didn't believe me.
I think I've
And
read this book that he's talking about. It's an interesting, you said, I can't remember who you said wrote the book. It's a good book. Like it doesn't paint, I mean, I will say this for Elon Musk. Like he overcame a lot, honestly, but a lot of what he overcame was the fact that he had two Nazis as parents who like beat him and then he was awkward. So he would fight kids at school a lot. But it's not like he was broke. He wasn't broke.
yeah, like I said, I don't remember exactly how it came up, but like during the whole, so it went from Elon Musk, and he talked about wanting to incentivize good behavior and discourage bad behavior, more or less like with immigration and things like that. Um, I'm just like, let me scan through my searches because it. Oh, and he's a huge Chat GBT guy, and the
Yeah.
way he words things for Chat GBT. Um, so it's like everything he was looking at and the way he would word things into his Chat GBT. Um, obviously it's to get the right type of answers.
That's a good point, Penny. He did not overcome his Nazi parents. That's true. He succumbed to
Yeah,
his yeah. But I mean that's just
yeah.
tough. Like he had shitty parents who were also Nazis.
Walter
That's what I should have
Isaacson is
said. They were bad parents
Wal-
and also Nazis.
yeah. So Walter Isaacson is the
That's
book,
right.
or the whoever wrote the book. Um, but so I mean, he more like a big time Elon Musk fan. He wanted me to, he sent me the link to this book, then another podcast. I mean, I tried to go back and forth with him on different things. I mean, I have a ton of like general knowledge on these different topics,
Yeah.
but not having my computer or different things, and I wasn't expecting necessarily to have to debate someone
On Elon Musk on a first date. Yeah.
on Elon Musk, and then so here's like. So Elon Musk, we talked about Juan Abrego Garcia, um,
Just the
how like he's
the
talking
hits.
he simps hard for American exceptionalism, um,
Yeah.
how we're the greatest country in the world and the best education. I mean, I'm like, the fact that we have such a huge gap, I'm like, trillionaires shouldn't exist. I'm like, that's wild. That's crazy. When some people are, when we're giving all these cuts to billionaires, and there's certain, and you want to cut SNAP funding for kids to eat. It's just like
LLM Degrader wants to know what platform is on. He's going to grade your debate. So.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, no,
It was on Kick.
We went over all of the buzzword topics. Like it was seriously like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Liam is way more annoying than anybody, and so, but like the intelligence level of a Liam or a Hoodie.
That's not great. It did sound a lot like you went on a date with Hoodie when you were talking to me.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, we went from different freedom index. He was more or less talking about like education. At one point though, he did acknowledge that he has privilege, which kind of surprised me.
Hey, there you go, big fella.
But there's got to be a limit because you have to work for things, and like you're not, if you don't, suffer growing up or have things super hard, then how are you going to value anything?
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, we just
he
was trying to tell me like how the left with Grant Plattner and this, and he had that tattoo and he left it and this and that, and I'm looking at him, and so he doesn't have kids, he doesn't have tattoos.
That's good news for the rest of us.
So it was just like I was trying to like give some analogies. I'm like, because he was talking about people who come here undocumented and stuff like that. I said imagine if you have like a someone you care about, a lot, and things that you want the best for your kids, but I couldn't even give a correlation to a kid because he doesn't have any.
That's tough. Yeah.
And then it was. You
could have said, well, don't you want the best for Elon Musk? You could have said that. He might have understood that.
Well, Elon Musk, he's fantastic. I mean, he's very involved in his businesses, don't you know? He's hands-on. He went somewhere to the Bay Area when he bought Twitter, and he went to Walmart and bought some jeans, and went and got a truck to move these servers to Oregon. Dude, it was fun.
When you told me that story, I was like, who the fuck cares? I looked this up. It's like a real story. So it's because they were relocating a bunch of ex-server racks from Sacramento to Portland and to Atlanta to cut costs. But he did it so haphazardly and so off the cuff that he didn't plan it. So what this guy's explaining that Elon did was he fucked up. And then he had to he had to quickly like get a bunch of cars and drive them to Oregon. That's all that happened. So yeah, exactly, Matlock. So he worked. Yeah, he worked. It's amazing when a billionaire drives a car. What a hero.
He's talking about how Elon Musk, sleeps under his desk, how hard he works. And there was so much Elon Musk simping. It was.
I'll dry you up.
I'm just, and so yeah, like then he's talking about Brady Garcia, the whole. He's like, well, he got pulled over in Tennessee because he's a trafficker. I'm like, he was driving with people in a vehicle. That means that he's trafficking. I'm like, you realize that those allegations. I'm like, that wasn't an allegation when he was arrested initially. I'm like, you realize that came out after the fact, after they'd sent him to CCOT.
He did not. He did not realize that. I'm guessing.
No, he just didn't care necessarily. It was just all of the things. Like he brought up Graham Plattner's tattoo. I'm like, and he doesn't have tattoos. I'm like, do you know how much
he doesn't have tattoos?
Well, he doesn't have, like. So I joke around. I've got my tramp stamp from the early 2000s or whatever.
I forgot you had that. I forgot you told us that.
So I'm like. If in his everyday life he didn't necessarily hear that this was a big deal or that it was necessarily an issue, it's not like he had a swastika. I mean, most people like I don't know a lot of people who would have necessarily gotten it covered up until it was made a big deal like it was. But then he's talking about, well, yeah, his 4 other girlfriends, they all knew he was like this, and It was just, and I'm like, but you're okay with Pete Hegseth's tattoo?
That's about Jesus. How dare you?
Well, so that was so right around. So I brought up his tattoo. I'm like his tattoo has ties to white nationalism and things like that. And so like this was at the end, and so like I had to go to the bathroom. I came back out, and so he shows me what he searched on ChatGPT. That is Pete Hegseth's tattoo a Nazi tattoo? Is what he put in. I'm like, this is how you worded it. I'm like, it's gonna give you the answers you want.
Yeah.
It was fucking awful. It was and since I've started dating again, this is the worst date I've ever been on.
It's my favorite one you've been on.
I know you told me that. I'm glad that you found this to be entertaining. I mean, like we got when I got back, he's like, "Yeah, this is probably not going to work out." I'm like, "Absolutely, it's not. Nope,
Was he
not
good?
at all."
But was he a good kisser? Or
No, no.
All
So,
right.
and then I mean, then to top it all off, today. So what?
Oh,
Jane
this is the
Meyer
best
did-
part. I forgot. Yeah, go ahead.
Jane, my routine is he has the outline he does, and like I'm usually bugging him by like 8:30 if I haven't gotten it already, like, hey, send me the outline, whatever. And so I go and I'm figuring out whatever the title is going to be. So he sent me an idea for the title that he thought maybe he wanted to go with, and so I'll see what I can come up with. And so I go, and every time, like, I'll send it in Discord, I'll drop it in our Discord, and then I'll copy and paste the Discord names ideas to his texts. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking, and I use I have on my computer, it's like called Phone Link or whatever. I go and I double look. I sent the title ideas to the Elon simp.
It's my favorite part.
What the
I don't know. And I feel like it's contagious because then I responded to Jen and sent the answer to my ex-wife. So yeah.
Yeah.
Good start this morning.
I mean, my plan was to never message this person ever again.
Fate brought you back together.
Well, so then I get, so of course, I when I realized that I had sent the wrong one, I'm like, sorry, I meant to send that to. I mean, even show. Oh, that was the other thing he brought. Oh, so he was also a COVID denier.
Yeah.
C-19. Masks don't work.
Of course not.
And people shouldn't be afraid. This guy's a firefighter.
Yeah. We love firefighters.
Yeah. So I mean, that was another thing. Like C-19 denial, masks don't work. And so he talked about some other. He's talking about some podcast. I'm like, please tell me it's not like Robert Malone, who was one of like 50 people on this patent in the 70s.
It was like Robert Malone.
And I like, and so he's like, what? Like, he uses this weird look. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, they're not experts. So I sent Jay a screenshot of the text from. So he told me to check out this podcast. It was only 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if I checked this out. And it was Peter McCullough.
Well, it was it was the Dr. Drew podcast with the guest Peter McCullough. Yeah. So.
Peter McCullough, RFK ends, like, all the things.
It's Peter RFK ends COVID vaccine, EUA, and SCOTUS rule, and then a SCOTUS rules for something. I don't know, but there, yeah.
So I mean, if you want to share the screenshot, you can. But yeah, it was.
Let's see. Let me show the screen here. There it is. He hits you with a thumbs up. Hey, by the way, did you listen to the podcast?
Fuck my life. I knew it wasn't going to be a good thing before. I knew it was.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a great thing. Thank you, Jen, for going on that date for all of us. We appreciate that.
So those are the title ideas for today's show. We went with the first one for today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's.
Did he pick one?
No, that's the extent of the text conversation, and there will be no further responses from me.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Jen, if Jen's a little quiet today, she's just probably creating what are those things?
Fuming.
What are those dolls called that you can like?
Oh, what is that doll called?
I don't know. I wanted to say Ouija doll, but it's a Ouija board. What are those fucking things called? Who we
I don't know
got
what it's
witches in
called.
here? Voodoo. Voodoo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a yeah.
Thanks, witches.
Yeah. So that was fun. But I mean, I do have. I knew I wasn't gonna like this guy. I knew I
I
wasn't
love
gonna
him. I
like
tried
him.
to get Jen to invite him to talk to me. She said no.
No, we're done.
Yeah.
Or it's done. But I do have a different date tonight that hopefully it's not going to be this.
I'll let you guys know if I get a text or a phone call. It's
Yeah.
never good when Jen calls. Never. I've never
I
once
didn't know
had Jen call and it was like, this is gonna be good.
I didn't know who to call.
No, you
I didn't
called the
know
right person.
but I had to call somebody.
I was the
This
right
was
one.
something that I could not sit with by myself. So
All right. Well, do your announcements. Let's get started.
all right. Well, welcome everybody. Happy Friday. So we're live on all the platforms. So if you're watching on TikTok, let's get the TikTok likes up to 30K. If they'll let you share it out, do that. So if you haven't sent your heart me, send your heart me. We want to keep if we want to keep TikTok up, trying to keep gifts going over there is helps so more likely for us to stay up. If you're we've got this is our job. We do this each day, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. And we need to hit that gift goal. You can take down the text message if you want.
I'm using it to cover up what's behind it. So
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we like I said, we have the gift goal that we need to hit each day. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out the gift goal. We prefer the pay links because they take less from us tax wise or bill wise. So if we can knock that out quick, fast, and in a hurry, that would be sweet. If you're not subscribed yet, you should become a subscriber so you can join us for members only events.
Also, real quick, if you're here and you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok, will you just make sure that you're either following or subscribed? Not even the paid ones. Just make sure you're doing that. I'm supposed to. I think I'm supposed to remind you of that. It's something like 8% of the people that watch daily are subscribed. So if you're here, even if you're here daily and we show up in your algorithm, will you just double check and make sure that you're following or subscribed? And if you're not, hit that little button, and then we'll come up in your feed, and it'll suggest it to your friends. Sorry, go ahead, Jen.
Yep. So there's that. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jalen Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. Did you know dogs can bark up to 500 times a day?
I did not know that.
It's just a rough estimate.
It's crazy that is your segue today, because I may or may not have a dog joke coming up. All right, I'm showing you this. It's not super important. It's just the best thing I saw on the internet today, and so we're gonna watch this. This person's name is shit. What is? I want to get her name right. It's I searched it on Twitter. It's Elise, Alise Morales. So you can check her out. It's the best thing I've seen in a very, very long time, and I wanted to watch it with all of you.
Anything for the 4th? It's fucking weird to celebrate America any year, but this year it's even worse with like Iran and ICE, and they're stretching that boy out in the White House. The kid, Barron, they're stretching him out. That's why he looks all fucking stretched and shit. Know what you're gonna say, okay? And yeah, fuck Trump, fuck his family, point blank, period. But I don't think they should be stretching the boy. How are they stretching him? Well, I guess I always imagine they put him on one of those, it's like a wooden thing. It's got like a crank, and then like a monk or something just cranks it, but the technology has probably advanced on that. You're right, that's a really good question. I don't know. I didn't read it anywhere, dude. I used the 2 beautiful brown eyes God put in my fucking head, and I saw a stretched out kid and worked backwards from there. You've never heard this? Think about it. Melania's not that tall. Trump's not that tall, but they got a big, tall boy. It doesn't make sense. What do you think the ballroom is for? 22,000 square feet, they're gonna keep him in there. You know what, Alex? I'm so fucking glad we broke up, man. Why are they stretching him? to make him long, dude. I don't know why I have to explain all this shit to you. Oh, okay, you just don't think that's the case. Well, look who it is. Alex, the king of who's stretched. Nobody's stretched unless Alex says they're stretched. Ha ha. Yeah, you're right. I'll calm down. This is a funeral. You're right. It's not respectful. And you know what? Steph would hate to see this. Her two oldest friends standing outside her funeral, sniping at each other over a boy who's obviously stretched out. You doing anything for the fourth?
I have no idea if you thought that was as funny as I did. I've watched that like 20 times this morning. That's my favorite Bear and Braveheart drop. My head hurts from smiling. Thanks for saying that. Who said? Stacy said, I found this live about 3 months ago and it's the best by far, but it's making it hard to focus on work. Thankfully, work has been slow lately. Thanks, Trump. Once it's busy, I'll have to listen after work. Well, I don't know if it makes a difference if your work is busy or not for your income or your job security. So if it does, then I hope things pick up. But if it doesn't, then I hope it just stays boring. And we love having you here, Stacy. So thank you for saying that. And welcome, everybody, to the Friday edition of RTB Talks. That was a long introduction to get things going. And we're going to kick things off politically with what I'm calling the Mamdani Minute. And this is going to be a recurring segment, maybe. Mostly, I'm going to forget that I said this. I'm going to forget. It's a good idea at the time. All my ADHDers, you know what I'm talking about. I saw this and I was like, I'm going to do a Mamdani Minute every Friday. And I'm just going to take my favorite quote from Mamdani from the week and play it on Friday. So next Friday, tune in when I forget about the Mamdani Minute. But can you all at least just admit that it's a pretty good idea? And you would like it if I could follow through on this, which I won't, and I desperately want to. But no, I capitalize on like one good idea every 3 months, and the rest are just floating around in my head. But here was Mamdani today.
Now, in Adam Sandler's criminally underrated 2006 film Click, Christopher Walken...
Great idea. Write it down. Yeah. Okay. Talk to our other ADHDers. I'll lose it. If I write it down, I'll fucking lose it. If I write it... I have a notebook. No, I don't. The fuck's my notebook? I lost my notebook. I have a notebook full of ideas. I don't know where it is now. Son of a bitch. See, I mean, you guys, yeah, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I have no idea. I think it might be in my backpack, actually. I think I took it with me last week. It's probably in my backpack.
His role as Morty, the angel of death, begs us to, quote, consider the leprechaun. He's always chasing the pot of gold, Walken says, but when he gets there at the end of the day, it's just cornflakes. Whether it's an internet provider or a commercial gym, too many in our city have made and developed the bad habit of disguising cornflakes as gold. New Yorkers reckon with it as almost every part of the customer experience. When they are not told how much something truly costs, and when they get a mess of hidden fees that they never signed up for, cannot cancel, and cannot afford. Life in our city is already hard enough. New Yorkers already feel a pit in their stomach as they check out at the grocery store. They scrimp and save to make rent. They sit at kitchen tables with piles of bills, wondering how they'll ever be able to afford all of them. The last thing that New Yorkers need on top of all of that are airlines or credit card companies making life even harder by trapping them in a web of hidden costs. Those traps are concealed when you book a hotel, when you buy concert tickets, or when you finally cave and get that free trial.
I bet Jen's date eats cornflakes
to watch the World Cup. It might be a $5 surcharge, or it might be an added $20 at the end of every month. Either way, it adds up fast. It is estimated that the average family of four loses more than $3,200 per year on junk fees and hidden costs. New Yorkers already struggle.
Mamdani's going after junk fees. Fuck every other politician not doing what Mamdani does. Imagine being a person today that woke up like fucking... I saw Dave Portnoy again yesterday. They were like, if you ran for office, where would you run? He's like, I'd run to take down that fucking guy Mamdani. Oh yeah, Dave? Oh, he's going after junk fees. It's going to be like he's going to be saving all the puppies next. He's going to give everybody a puppy, and that puppy will be potty trained and hypoallergenic, and it'll save you from intruders. And then Dave Portnoy will be like, yeah, but is he cutting taxes for rich people? How do people, legitimately, how do people dislike Mamdani? I like his ideas. I like that he delivers the ideas, and then he's charming. How does anybody watch this guy and go, this fucking guy? Unless racism, right? Islam. But it's pretty fucking awesome.
Struggling to afford the basics simply do not have that kind of money to lose. And it's not just working people who suffer as a result of these costs. It's also businesses that operate with integrity and play by the rules. City Hall will not sit idly by while some exploit those same working businesses and people to pad bottom lines. 4 days after I took office in January, I signed 2 executive orders to hold these kinds of abuses accountable and to crack down on junk fees, on subscription traps, and deceptive practices in New York City. Then we were also in State Senator Kristen Gonzalez's district. Today, I am proud to announce that we are taking this work a step further with 2 new rules that we are enacting under the authority of our Consumer Protection Law. First, we will be launching
He is wearing a brown suit. I did forget about that. Fuck. Impeach him.
Nation's first ever click to cancel rule. Because if you can sign up with 1 click, you should be able to cancel with 1 click.
What a great fucking idea. What a great idea. These are real solutions for real. Everybody fucking hates that. Everybody hates how hard it is to cancel like a gym membership. You have to come in. You can only cancel on the last Thursday of the month from noon until 1 p.m. You got to bring in a blood sample, a birth certificate, an electric bill, and your last 4 years of tax returns. And then you have to give 365 days notice. You just let us cancel some shit, please.
Second, we are enacting a new junk fees rule that will require fully transparent, all-in pricing.
You had to send a certified letter? That's crazy.
That means no additional costs, fees, or charges after you've already made that purchase. Together, these laws are estimated to save New Yorkers more than $162 million per year. And for any who have built a business model on hidden fees and exploitation, consider this to be an official notice. If you violate either of these rules, you will be held accountable to the tune of $525 per violation. And just like those junk fees, I promise it does add up, and it does so quickly. New Yorkers have enough to worry about without these kinds of hidden costs weighing on their minds. No longer will our city be a playground for those who think they can make a quick buck on the backs of hiding this kind of information from New Yorkers. City government will instead be standing alongside New Yorkers who deserve to know what they are paying for, businesses that operate ethically and transparently like so many across our city do, and against those that harm millions of working people. Thank you so much.
Home. Fucking Mamdani. OCD, good to see you, my friend said. I tried joining the Discord. I feel like Jen's firefighter boyfriend trying to figure it out. I still use 1-800-COLLECT. Happy Friday. Damn, dude. If you have Discord, just message Jen. She'll walk you through it. Jen, be kind. And a big W for OCD, sending $50 over on PayPal. Kick things off this week. And goddamn, Trudy for $50 over on Venmo. W. Trudy in the chat as well said for Jen's emotional and intellectual distress. And then our Boston brother Soli sent $100 on Venmo as well. Said, love you guys. Soli, we love you too. And God bless Boston. And sorry about the Paul Revere stuff the other day. Wasn't he from Boston? Maybe actually, I think I was nice about Paul Revere. I take that back. God bless Paul Revere. Isn't there a Paul Revere statue in Boston? Am I making that up? I think there is. Oh, is Mark? Mark, you're back and you're upset. Come on, Mark. Have a good day. Purdy Kiki also. Thank you for the gifted subs. Holy shit! Thank you for the gifted subs. Appreciate that, guys. You're being very generous today, and I appreciate you. All right. In other news, I just showed you Mamdani. Meanwhile, Republicans, while they complain about Mamdani and socialism, we've watched this before, and we're gonna watch it again. I just want to remind you, the GOP in Colorado had their primaries, and this is who they chose to be their candidate for governor.
Marx was on the debate stage this week, and during which that reporter asked him this truly incredible question.
You claim that you've been all around
eliminating junk fees and easy cancellation are page 1 of the Communist Manifesto. That's true. Don't look that up, but it is 100% true.
the world armed to the teeth rescuing women and children from captivity, that you've stopped human smugglers at the Mexico border and made them pay a price, that you as a civilian called in a U.S. military airstrike that killed 70 ISIS fighters, that you were the first American into Gaza during the war with Israel, that you've done 150 high-risk missions and every one has been a success. You told me last week that it's all true and that you don't need to prove it to anyone. But you're talking to voters now. How should voters decide whether you've lived...
This reporter guy is Kyle Clark. He's the greatest reporter in the world.
...one of the most extraordinary lives in human history, or whether you're a liar and a fraud?
Yeah, we saw it already. I'm showing it again.
Spectacular. That might be the first debate in history won by the moderator. And just look at his co-host there. We must be thinking, hey, I didn't know we were allowed to be sassy bitches tonight. And if you are thinking there is no answer that could possibly be stranger than that question, I'm afraid you are wrong.
I can't help it if I've had an extraordinary life. I'm an ordinary fella. And starting from my childhood all the way to now, me standing up on a stage running for governor, Reagan, I said I was going to talk about you. Come, seats. This little dog, she's going to go bite you right now, Kyle. She was in Syria and Iraq. So is she lying too?
Incredible.
And they chose him to be governor. Colorado Republicans are like, fuck yeah, that's our guy. That's our guy that brought his dog to the debate. It's like, you calling my dog a liar?
That is a grand slam answer to a home run question. His brain is truly one of a kind, because who else on earth would hear the question, are you a fraud? And even think to answer with, hey, are you calling my dog a liar?
Congratulations to the GOP. You're totally not a joke. Every day, some of you, Mark, if you're still here, every day the same group of people comes in here and they're like, Mamdani is a socialist. He's an idiot. And then you'll just stand by and watch that happen. Like, no, this is fine. We're the party of common sense. Calling my dog a liar? My dog tells the truth. Star Spangled Awesome. So, cool. And maybe this is why Trump is doing what he's doing now. It is the who's who of who the fuck and what the fuck is that the GOP is putting up. And so naturally, the response from the Trump administration is to fire people that make sure our elections are secure. This is according from Democracy Docket. President Trump Thursday dismissed all remaining commissioners on the Election Assistance Commission, which is a bipartisan federal agency created to help states administer elections. Trump's firing of Democratic commissioners Thomas Hicks, Ben Hovland, and Republican Commissioner Christy McCormick leaves the four-commissioner federal agency without leadership months before the upcoming 2026 election. That's a good idea, right? That seems like a good idea. Right before the midterms is fire everybody. Now, what do? Donald Palmer, a Republican, and the agency's fourth commissioner abruptly resigned earlier this year. In a statement, the Democratic Association of Secretaries of State denounced the dismissals as incredibly irresponsible, saying that the EAC plays a critical role in supporting state and local election officials, and it will again fall on secretaries of state and other election administrators to fill the gap. Why do you think they want to leave it to local election officials and secretaries of state? We covered this. We've covered this with the Election Truth Alliance. Shout out Danielle. I don't know. She sent me the video and then I got distracted. I don't know if it's the right one, but we covered this. The reason that they want this agency gone is because they have been working behind the scenes to bring in secretaries of state and election administrators to bypass the checks on the election equipment. Like, I think we have confirmation now. I think we have absolute confirmation that they are going to use the same types of things, or I guess strategies they used in 2024 to manipulate votes and manipulate these machines. They've bypassed. There's a hole or a flaw in these machines that they can bypass. Everybody knows that they can do it. All you need is an internet connection and somebody with a little bit of knowledge, and you can change votes. Said from cutting funding for cybersecurity to launching baseless investigations, this pattern of behavior from the Trump administration makes it harder for our election officials to do their work and does nothing to make elections more secure. The dismissals come after Trump has attempted to use the EAC in his efforts to assert control over elections. Max Pflugrath, a voting rights advocate with Fair Fight Action, said the firings fit into a broader effort by Trump to pressure the EAC to change election rules after Republicans failed to pass the Save America Act. Since he took office, Trump has pressured the EAC to change election rules to effectively implement the SAVE Act because they can't pass it through Congress. That's the fascism thing. Remember that? That's the fascism thing. We don't do Congress. We don't do democracy. We just let Trump do what he wants via executive order. How is he allowed to do this? There's nobody to stop him. The Republicans in Congress are letting him do it. They're not going to impeach him. There's no votes. The DOJ is sitting around with their thumbs up their asses, and of course, they're not going to do anything. This is why we were worried about Project 2025. Project 2025 is a blueprint of how the president can exert executive control with no guardrails whatsoever. So everybody that they've put into these commissions and everybody who's supposed to make sure that the executive branch is doing things fairly and legally are gone. There are no more of those people. And the Department of Justice isn't going to investigate. Our country, like Ben Shapiro famously said, I don't trust Trump, but I trust the Constitution to hold up against Trump. Whoops. How is he allowed to do this? He's not. It's that we can't do anything about it. Now we're talking about like we legitimately have to go in, and these midterm elections have to be massive fucking landslides, massive. It has to be obvious that they cheat. What are you saying, Yeager? You do realize you're a Moran and a sheep to the evil left. A Moran? Oh, a moron. Oh, okay, come up, Jagger Wolf. Come talk to me about it. Just explain it to us. Be happy to talk to you. In an anti-voting executive order last year, Trump directed the commission to add a proof of citizenship requirement to a federal voter registration form, make changes to the standards it uses to certify the voting systems used in all U.S. elections, and withhold federal funds from states that did not comply with other requirements. Trump's decision to purge the EAC marks his first major dismissals following a landmark Supreme Court ruling last month that shattered decades of precedent and gave the president almost unlimited authority to fire officials at independent federal agencies, which was obviously a mistake. It's obviously, and this is, remember when Trump gave his State of the Union and he went up to Roberts and he said something along the lines of like, I won't forget what you did to me or for me. That was when he said the Supreme Court ruled that the president can basically just do crimes. And now the Supreme Court has ruled, you know what? He can control the entire executive branch. It doesn't matter. He can do corrupt things because he's the president. All based on something called unitary executive theory, which is completely fucking made up by fascists to subvert democracy. And this is what you voted for. And I know that those that voted for this, like, this doesn't change your mind. You like this more. Yay! Yay! Voters have no more say. We just get Trump. The firings raise immediate concerns or questions about what, if anything, the EAC can do without commissioners. It remains unresolved whether the Supreme Court's recent ruling actually allows the president to fire the heads of bipartisan election agencies like the EAC or the FEC. Rick Hasen, an election law professor at University of UCLA, told VoteBeat they could potentially be protected by a separate exception because Congress structured them around the bipartisan balance. But we're going to have to go to court for this. And will it get through the courts in enough time? That's why he waited. Most boldly, and I would argue illegally, Trump could try to direct the commissionerless EAC to do his bidding. For example, by stating that the EAC must amend the federal voter registration from the form that states must accept for federal elections to include documentary proof of citizenship. Trump's first voting-related executive order tried to do this, and he was stymied. But that was acting through the commissioners, and before Supreme Court ruling. Oh, there we go. I didn't understand the quotations there. The Brennan Center for Justice said in a statement that the EAC was designed by Congress as a bipartisan four-member body with no more than 2 commissioners from the same political party. The agency cannot take significant action unless 3 confirmed commissioners agree. Congress deliberately structured the EAC as a bipartisan agency to help states administer free, fair, and secure elections. Of course. right? Like, how do you have the EAC and structure in a way that whoever's in power doesn't win? It's a 4-person group, and 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat, or 2 Democrats and 1 Republican have to agree before you can do anything. This makes sense. That's a good point, Law Raleigh. I did forget about Biden's auto pen. Fuck. Never mind. Let's take the story down. We shouldn't care about this. Biden, the auto pen. That's a really good point. Why didn't SCOTUS think of election agencies, especially knowing they struck that down? Because they don't care. They don't care at all. I don't know what the arguments were. Maybe we'd have to go back and hear the arguments. I wonder if the people fighting for this brought up the EAC. I'm not sure. Those I didn't listen to those hearings. Until bipartisan replacements are confirmed, the group said the EAC cannot lawfully make any decisions that affect how Americans vote. So Trump obviously is either going to try and fill those positions with loyalists or just leave it as it is and then work through the people working in the EAC to get them to do unlawful things. That's so cool. Yeah, SCOTUS is 6'3" MAGA. We need to stop pretending like they have any legitimacy. You know what's crazy about that roly-poly bolo is that every time they rule against Trump, they're like, the courts are corrupt. It's like, what the fuck? You know how bad the argument has to be for this Supreme Court to rule against Trump? It has to be blatantly obvious, and then it's like 5-4. SCOTUS is bought and paid for. They can't be trusted. Of course not. Yeah, Democrats should, and every Democrat should be running right now on single-payer health care, increasing taxes on the wealthy, getting rid of Citizens United, and packing the fuck out of the courts, expanding the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court should be massively expanded. And I don't give a fuck about this either. There's going to be some sort of negotiation if Democrats try and expand the court so that they like expand it in stages. But I don't care. If they came in tomorrow or if they won and they came in day one and they said, we're going to add 10 more judges and we get to pick all 10, I don't give a fuck. And Republicans, you don't get to give a fuck either. You can't even complain if it happens. You have to sit down and shut the fuck up, because the only reason you have this majority is because you legitimately cheated, changed the rules, and got yourself 2 illegitimate Supreme Court members by just doing the thing that everybody thought you wouldn't do. People are like, oh, the members of Congress, like, there's rules, there's standards, they're like they always follow. They don't make new rules in the middle of a session. They've always just, whoever the president was gets to pick who they nominate for the Supreme Court, and then the Republicans are like, no. So when Obama has a year left in his presidency, the Republicans come out and they say, oh, we can't bring in a new Supreme Court justice, which would have been Merrick Garland, because we need to let the voters decide. The voters did decide. They elected Barack Obama for 8 years. That's the decision. The voters decided that he would have a 4-year term followed by another 4-year term. And the Republicans pretended that was a legitimate argument. And you had Lindsey Graham out there going, hey, look, I know that you guys are upset about this, but if this happened in reverse, we would be okay with it. Like, if this ever happens with you guys, we'll be okay with that. And then when Joe Biden was president, when Donald Trump was president, and it was time to nominate a Supreme Court justice the last year of his presidency, did they abide by that? No, they didn't. So the rules are out the window. Democrats need to win a super majority, and then we need to scream at every one of them who doesn't pack the courts. We have to fix. It's the only way to fix this. And it's not like, this isn't even like a Republican, Democrat, right versus left thing. This is, the Supreme Court is owned. Not by you, the Republican voters. You should be just as upset. It's owned, literally, by like Leonard Leo and a bunch of Republican donors, the oil lobbyists, and a bunch of like Christian nationalists. They're not doing anything for you. They don't give a fuck about you. The rulings aren't for you. It's literally just doing the bidding of their overlords who bought these seats. So you should be on board with this. This should piss off everybody. If you're a Republican in here right now and you're not pissed off that Donald Trump is pulling away protections to make sure our elections are secure, then you're just a fascist. We have to fix it. The only way to fix it, no matter what your political beliefs are, the only way to fix this is that Democrats have to win, and then they have to pack the courts. Because Republicans won't fix it. I'm looking through here. I don't want to be a doomer, but I truly feel like we passed the point of no return without. I don't think we're there, but we could. Like if we look, if these midterm elections, if they're allowed to cheat, like they did it, I'm just happy. Like I'm cool saying it now. Like they did in 2024. I think now watching what Trump's done, there's more than enough evidence. Like I think we're beyond a reasonable doubt now. I think there was reasonable doubt before. I think we're past that. Danielle's gonna send me a message right now and be like, "You dumb bitch! I've been telling you this for a year. I told you." And that's fair, Danielle. She always calls me a dumb bitch. Just kidding. Danielle would never. She doesn't say that. She's sweet, but she does yell at me sometimes, and I deserve it. I think now it's pretty clear that that's what they're doing, right? Why else would they be firing these commissioners? Why would they get rid of the people who are trying to make elections more secure? Do we have any MAGA here? Could you explain this? Guys, will you drop names in the chat of MAGA people that are here? I just want to know if you're here, and I want to hear your opinion on this. Could you tell me what this is for? Theory, did you message me, by the way? Said, I didn't expose Elon for voter fraud in 2024 for nothing. I risked everything to expose him. I prove with undeniable that not only is he guilty, but his ex also confirmed it. I also had CIA-backed proof to my claim the first time I came out with it. Grassy ass. All right, grassy ass. Could you give me an explanation of what you think this is? I'm with you, disgruntled pelican. Unlike MAGA, I actually don't want to believe they cheated. Same. I'm with you. I wanted that to be a legitimate election. For any of you asking who Danielle is, I don't know if Danielle is here. Danielle is somebody who watches the show regularly, and she's the first one that started pushing me on, hey, you got to look into election fraud in 2024. And she pushed for a long time, and she continues. Like, she sends me stuff all the time. She's the reason that I dug into it so deep. So we just like to give Danielle credit for being vigilant. And a theory, I didn't know any of this. So you and I need to connect as well, if you want to. Did we get grassy ass? Voter ID will protect the election. No. Grassy, I'm talking about firing the election, the EAC. Can you explain to me why this is a good idea? The good idea to get rid of the EAC? Desperation stinks. What a fucking wet wipe in California. So yeah, but I'm asking you a question, David. You're hysterical. Calm down. I just want to know why this is a good idea. No more Democrat handouts. That doesn't make sense. Gracias, you have to answer my question or I have to mute you for the rest of the live, okay? I'm tired of you guys today. Answer my question. Why did he do this? We're left to the problem is that we have Gracias and whoever the other person was. If you guys are just like hurling insults, we're left to just assume that you're bots because it doesn't make sense how you're responding to what I'm saying. Curious, do you think Democrats have nightmares because of the Islamo-Marxist ideology they helped create? Can you answer my question, Promoti24, or else we have to mute you too? I'm asking about the elections and the EAC and Trump getting rid of that board. Can you answer that question? Don't even engage with his Islamo-Marxist ideology shit. We can get to that later. I'm asking real simple questions. I just want an answer from one of you. None of you are going to give me an answer at all? Okay, either DM me on TikTok or Discord or whatever. If you have Discord, I prefer that because I rarely check my DMs. But Jen, will you check my DMs if Ethereum does? Or if you have Discord, send it to me. Donald Trump's best president. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm with you, Progress Now. I think they're just trolls. It's because there's no way that a self-respecting person would be asked a direct question and then just like say Donald Trump is great, right? There's no way. Have we legitimately run off like every human that still supports Trump? Did you hear about Greg Paulist? He had a great breakdown of the voter fuckery. No. Greg Paulist? The real election story. Okay. I'm going to save this for later. The real election story nobody wants told. I'm going to add that. That's the one place that works if I do it on my save later on YouTube. All right, I'll check that out. Thank you. Did we not get an answer? You're the board. Gracias, please don't make me mute you. Please just answer the question. This is your last chance. One more time. Never mind. That is, sorry, my bad. He did this to help the Republicans stay in power. So you admit that he's, okay, so he's cheating then, right? Are you on board? Are you agreeing? For the record, I expect you to be okay with cheating. I don't think you're going to be upset about that, but he did this so that he can cheat to help Republicans stay in office. Is that what you're saying, Gracias? Honestly, I appreciate that transparency. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, there you go. I appreciate you being honest. Thank you for saying. I think maybe you're not a bot. I think we can agree. Congratulations to Gracias, not a bot. Thank you. You can stay here. Appreciate that. All right. Any other ones I want to cover? I'll cover more election stuff on Monday. I'm looking forward to talking to you, Etheria. Let's go here. I think I put a clip out of this a couple weeks ago, and I do think we need to be aware of this. A lot of us are really, really happy with the Democratic Socialists, specifically the ideas that they're promoting. We've obviously been disappointed by Graham Plattner, and hopefully whoever they replace Graham Plattner with is going to be somebody that has those same types of values. But I'm not getting like great vibes from Abdul El Sayed. He does some cool things. I wanted to show some of the things I like about him. Obviously, I like his ideas. I like this. I think this is funny, and I think this is effective.
About your opponent, Abdul El Sayed, who has...
This is Haley Stevens, who he's neck and neck in for the Democratic nomination in Michigan Senate.
Criticized you on Israel in particular, and of course with the war in Iran back at the top of our show, back at the top of the headlines today. I want to play something that he has used to create a website attacking you. If you go to the website, it just plays this on a loop. I want to show it to our viewers. We'll talk about it on the other side.
She does look scary. She gives my catfish vibes, like if my catfish didn't have a drug problem.
Watch.
In the United States Congress, I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future.
Yikes. Yikes.
How would you characterize the remarks you were making then, and what impact does this have now?
Sure. Look, I was standing with the Jewish community and a group of
yeah. You can stand with the Jewish community without saying that.
Hostages who were in pain, people who had just gotten released from the Hamas tunnels. It was a very emotional moment. And
I didn't know she was running for the Knesset.
I have been certainly very dedicated to standing by all.
Just say you were high. Yeah. I got fucked up. I just said some weird shit. That's a better answer.
Michiganders who have experienced pain as a result of a war that was started multiple years ago, and frankly, a war that Benjamin Netanyahu has mismanaged, and he has failed to bring.
Here's the thing. I want to like her. I want to like anybody who has that accent. But sorry, I just can't. I'm going to give anybody with that accent, I'm going to give so much grace to. So if I don't like you with that accent, you fucked up.
In peace, he has made Jews less safe here in America and around the world. And Mr. Netanyahu was just on CNN the other day criticizing me. I'm not afraid of Bibi. I'm not afraid of Putin. I've had to stand up to him when he stole my
Yeah, you are.
Constituent Paul Whelan and wrongly detained him for 5.5 years. I was writing resolutions condemning the Russian Federation before the war in Ukraine broke out. These leaders, these bullies who abuse power, who are corrupt, they will not get a pass from me. I am a courageous and bold leader, and you bet your pants.
In all fairness, like none of us have ever heard of you before this. Sorry about that freeze frame there. That you're looking a little toothless. My bad. Thanks, Johnny, Laura Ali, UA Dolphin, Eve, Diana, Jen, and Plants on the Spectrum for being the top gifter so far over on TikTok. Appreciate you guys.
I will be in the United States Senate.
Congresswoman, I had Mr. El Sayed on this program.
Yeah, I thought I heard the Michigan accent a little bit. Now it's going away. I take back what I said about her accent.
A few days ago, and I asked him several times if Israel has a right to exist. He would not say that straight out. What is your answer to the question?
That's such a dumb question, by the way. Does Israel have the right to exist? Yeah, all people do. But the answer is all people do, right? Like, why would you say every country has the right to exist? Why do we ask that specifically about Israel? It's such a fucking Zionist question, because what they really mean when they say, does Israel have the right to exist? What they mean is, are they allowed to be ethno-supremacist? Should Israel be allowed to exist as an ethno-supremacy and treat Palestinians as second-class citizens and elevate those who are Jewish, either by descent or by faith, above those who are not? That's like saying, does the South before the Civil War have the right to exist? Yeah. Do they have the right to own people? No. That's what the question is. Have you ever heard anybody say, does Canada have the right to exist? Does Argentina have the right to exist? Does Chad have the right to exist? Does South Korea have the right to exist? Nobody ever asks that question about anybody except for Israel. And what they mean is, should they be able to exist as ethno-supremacists? No.
Does Israel have a right to exist?
Well, absolutely. And this is a stark policy difference between my opponent, Abdul, and myself.
It's okay. For the record, El Abdul Said has said they have a right to exist as a country, as a democracy. And the people and the people that live there have the right to vote and participate in a democracy. They get to still exist. They just don't get to be ethno-supremacists.
My goal and the work that I stand by is long-term peace and a two-state solution where people in Palestine, in Gaza, can live peacefully side by side with the people of Israel. It is deeply concerning that Abdul...
Okay. It's called segregation. Segregation is never two co-equal groups. It never works that way. She's advocating for segregation. Can you imagine if she was advocating for segregation in the United States of America? She would be torn to shreds. Why is it okay for so many of these politicians to be like, what we need is segregation? Equal but separate? Yeah. It just doesn't work. They're already segregated. They already live next to each other.
Equivocates when talking about Israel's right to exist. That does not bring us closer to peace. That does not help this tenuous situation. I stand by a two-state solution and my long work to bring us
Blue Zero, name one country that is practicing communism. Thank you.
To that goal.
And you have to answer that question or else we get rid of you.
Let's talk a little.
All right. So I showed that because I think that two things. One, I think Abdul Said is a better candidate than Haley Stevens. I think on policy, on human rights, better candidate. And I think that the things that he stands for means that, like, if I was in Michigan, I would vote for El Sayed. However, North Korea is communist. They have a government, don't they? Chad, take care of him. Please explain to him what communism is. All right. But Abdul El Sayed has some problems, and he's not handling them very well. Now, this problem I don't actually have an issue with. I like him standing on ground here. Obviously, CNN is getting their marching orders. Somebody powerful is telling CNN to go after Abdul El Sayed because this isn't a real this isn't like a real complaint. Now, they're going back through old tweets that he deleted, and everything that they say here on K-Files sounds exactly like what Netanyahu would say. Kind of like quasi anti-Semitism that isn't actually anti-Semitism, or like quasi communism that isn't communism, or they just take everything he says completely out of context and then claim that they're saying it in context. I wanted to show this though, because this is CNN, moderate, middle, right, whatever you want to call them, going after all El Sayed. They have somebody that they'd like to promote here.
Has exclusive reporting on El Sayed, a progressive Democrat and currently the front runner for Michigan's open Senate seat, who insisted he never, ever called for defunding the police. He told CNN just last week.
Miles, we're talking about an election in Michigan. Shut the fuck up. Okay? We're not here to hear your stupid talking points about Israel. We're not here to watch you suck their dick. We're talking about an election in Michigan. Just stay on topic. I don't like Zionists. Zionists, you can be here. But if we're talking about other topics and you're just doing Zionist shit in the chat, we'll just get rid of you. Nobody gives a fuck about your Zionist talking points. Communism is so good, the USSR built a wall to keep people in. Okay, cool. Okay, talk about this, Blue Zero. I asked you a question. You didn't get that one right. Let's talk about this election now. By the way, none of these people are communists, Blue Zero. I'm not a communist. None of these people running are communists. Nobody's running on communism. This is silly. You're not in the real world. You're in a hypothetical world that doesn't exist right now. You're upset about literally nothing. I can't define Zionism? What do you mean I can't define Zionism? Sure I can. Like, you want my definition of what I think a Zionism is? Zionists would say it's their right or their advocacy of self-determination. They think that that Israel is the birthright, or they think they're like restoring Israel as their birthright. I call that ethno-supremacy. Zionism is ethno-supremacy. We're better than you because of our religion and our birthright. Okay, you tell me what the definition. Like, literally looking up. I could look at, here's the definition of Zionism: is the Jewish national movement advocating for the self-determination and reestablishment of a Jewish homeland in the historic land of Israel. Which part did I get wrong there? You tell me what Zionism is, because you guys all just seem like bloodthirsty ethno-supremacists to me. I think you have the same exact ideology as the Nazis. You just hate a different group of people. The Nazis thought that being Aryan made them ethnically superior to Jewish people, and therefore they could treat Jewish people like second-class citizens. You guys believe that your religion and your Jewish heritage makes you ethnically superior to everybody else in that region. What's the difference? The ethno nonsense? No, that's what it. How else do you explain it? Why do they think that they get that land? Because of what? Because of their lineage, right? That's ethno supremacy. Right? Did you give me a different definition, Miles, or are you just going to call me an idiot? I tried to engage with you here. Did you give me a different definition? Liberal sheep? Yeah, shut the fuck up. No, you're an ethno-supremacist. I'm also not a liberal. I'm a progressive. At least get that right. You don't seem to know what any words mean. You don't seem to know what communism means. You don't seem to know what Zionism means. You don't seem to know what liberalism means. You don't seem to know what any of these fucking words mean. You have a lot of confidence for somebody this stupid. You've gotten every word wrong so far that you've tried to define, and you're calling other people stupid. Yeah, now we're doing laughing emojis. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, you're just a dipshit. Yeah, good luck with your ethno-supremacy.
And currently the front runner for Michigan's open Senate seat, who insisted he never, ever called for defunding the police. He told CNN just last week his tweets were taken out of context. Okay. Listen to him.
So for the record, I don't know why he said this. Is what's pissing me off about El Sayed. He absolutely called for defunding the police. He absolutely did.
I deleted all the tweets because I didn't want them to be taken out of context like this. And I think this debate about 2020 and the ways that tweets are going to play are really nice on CNN if you want to get clicks. They're not that effective, and nobody really asks me about them on the streets or in communities in Michigan. So if you want to talk about housing or healthcare or corporate dominance in our politics, I think those are a lot more legitimate questions that people are actually asking me about what they want their next senator to do in the state of Michigan rather than for clickbait in DC.
I just have to be consistent. That's not an answer. That's avoiding the question. He's pissing me off lately. I like him. I would still vote for him. Like, I don't think this is disqualifying compared to who he's running, but like, why not just stand on business here? Why not just be honest? She asked you a question, answer the question, get to it. Don't tell the journalist like what question you really should be asking is this. We ripped Ted Cruz about this last week. We rip Republicans. We just ripped what's his whatever OMB director Russ Vought, ripped him for this. When you're asked a question, answer the question. Don't tell them what question you should ask. Don't tell them the question doesn't matter. This isn't even a hard one. He can actually be honest about this, and it's not going to hurt him.
Well, our K-File has uncovered interviews of El Sayed from 2020, repeatedly making the case for defunding the police after a K-File report last year that revealed a dozen deleted tweets from El Sayed in support of the movement. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski is out front. So, Andrew, what more did you find?
Well, Aaron, what we found that in 2020, El Sayed didn't just tweet about defunding the police. He defended the idea in multiple interviews, including one where he plainly said, we do need to defund the police. Now,
I agree, Hazel. And again, please don't mistake this for me saying that Haley Stevens is a better option. She's not. Even with El Sayed like refusing to answer these questions, I'm going to criticize him. He's still the better candidate, but he could be untouchable if he was just honest.
Mentioned this in your intro, but I want people to first look at what he told the Detroit News late last year. He said, quote, I want to be clear. I actually never called for defunding. My goal in that conversation was to help everybody understand what we were talking about. Law enforcement exists for a reason, but ideally, you want to make sure that there are folks out there, not folks out there committing crimes in the first place. So
I feel like somebody in his campaign just needs to step in and explain. He was talking about defunding. He explained what defunding meant. He wanted money, some of the money that went to police, to go to other programs. There's a difference between defund the police and abolish the police. You can defund the police on different levels, right? Like you could completely defund the police and abolish them. Sure, he never called for that. He called for specific things that police do that they're funded to do, that they not be able to do that anymore, and thought that the city's resources were better used in other places, and he would like to defund the police and divert those dollars elsewhere. I just don't get, I don't get this statement. Like, don't say you didn't say it. Explain what you meant, because when they're going to go and fact check him now, and you'll see what he was saying. He wasn't saying abolish the police. He was saying defund the police. But I don't understand this messaging. Like, I think maybe it's fear. Maybe he's got bad advisors. Democratic socialists should be transparent because their ideas are really fucking popular. Don't run from the ideas that are working and try and accommodate the middle. Run left. You need to go left. Create a massive gap between you and the Republicans. Force people to feel like, oh, these aren't even close. Like, these two candidates are not even remotely the same. Don't give them that option of like, oh, well, they're so close, but I'm more comfortable here. Give them that gap. Create the fucking gap. Whoever's advising him is giving him terrible advice.
El Sayed's argument was that he was not calling to defund the police. He was trying to explain a broader policy idea, funding things like social services, public health, education, and anti-poverty programs to prevent crime before it happens. But what we found in 2020 is that El Sayed actually went further than that. In interviews at the time, he didn't just describe investing in other services. He also explicitly said that meant spending less on police. And in one interview, he said directly that police should be defunded and less money should...
Say that! Say that! Do you hear what this guy's saying? Say fucking that! I think some of this money should be diverted. I don't know who's advising him. But say he's reading Abdul Saeed's tweets, which is exactly what he should be saying. Just read your tweets verbatim. Don't delete them. Don't say they're going to be taken out of context. Read them verbatim, because what he's saying makes sense.
Be spent on police. Listen to this.
I believe that we do need to defund the police insofar as defunding the police is disinvesting in the means of incarcerating someone or killing them on the streets.
That's gold. Are you kidding? That's gold. Send out the flyers with that on it. There's everybody in, like, most people don't understand what defund the police is. Just send out flyers. I would make this a campaign flyer. I would put commercials with this audio, and at the end, I would say, "I'm Dr. Abdul El Sayed, and I approve of this message." That makes perfect sense. We should defund them insofar as it disincentivizes them from incarcerating someone or killing them on the streets. That's so good. I don't know who's running this campaign. I hope they take a different direction. This is dumb because it just makes him look weak. It makes him look like he's a little spineless here to stand up there and say either, "I don't want it out of context, that's why I deleted them. I don't want to answer these questions." Answer the questions. Americans desperately want you to answer the questions. One of the things that Trump does so well, or that he understands really well, is that you should answer the questions, and that most of the time people don't give a fuck what the answer actually is. They just want to see a politician answer. And Trump did that when he ran the first time. Once he ran the first time, he didn't do that anymore. But that's how he got so popular, running as in the GOP primaries. He answered every question. Now he has a record, so now he doesn't want to do it because he'll answer questions and he's going to look bad. But answer the question. People just want to know, like, hear a real answer. When you say things like, "Oh, that's the wrong question," or "I deleted it because I didn't want to have it taken out of context," there's voters in the middle who are going to be like, "I don't trust this guy." And you know what sucks is that he's up against, what is it, Rogers? Mike Rogers? I think it's Mike Rogers. And the hits that you can put on Mike Rogers, they're good. Like, Mike Rogers is an election denier. He's anti-LGBTQ. He votes as like a far-right guy. But a lot of people don't care that much about that. So you can't hit Rogers with these same types of attacks. And so if you have somebody that's on the fence, they're gonna feel like El Sayed is being less honest than Rogers. And is it Rogers? Am I getting that name right? It doesn't sound right in my head, but I think it's right. Anyways, just sometimes these Democrat strategists blow my fucking mind.
Or killing them on the streets. What if we were to invest in social services? What if we were to invest in public schools? What if we were to invest in public libraries? What would the world look like there? And I think that has to be the way we go. And that means both investing more in these services, and it also means investing less in police.
So that was just one of several interviews that we reviewed, Aaron, and part of why this matters is because he is running in a true battleground state. Donald Trump won it in 2024.
It's a winning message.
And it's where Republicans are almost certainly going to make crime and policing a central issue, and where defund the police, a poll that we looked at.
Brittany said police shouldn't be called for mental health crisis. Many people get killed by police because of this. That happened to a good friend of mine. And the police were unable to de-escalate. They quickly escalated and shot and killed one of my friends. And honestly, like, he was aggressive and he was a threat to them, but they didn't have any de-escalation tactics. So I'm not going to blame it all on them, but that does happen all the time. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. A lot of you have helped us knock out most of that gift goal very quickly, so appreciate that. But if you want to help us, we are crowdfunded. That's how we pay our bills. The gift goal is in the bottom left corner. You can do Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Super Chats, or TikTok gifts. That helps us keep the lights on here, and I'll read damn near anything you send.
Showed, for example, that just 27% of respondents supported the defund the police movement in April.
Get rid of Blue Zero. Blue Zero's banned forever. Fuck you, dude. You did wah that they shot my friend. You can say whatever the fuck you want about me. Like, that's a pretty fucked up thing of you to do right there. So we'll see you again, never.
2021, we saw that 70% were opposed to it. So, politically, this has not been a phrase that's been popular even at the time.
Yeah.
So then define it. Just define it then. Don't lie and say you didn't say it, because then they're going to go get your tweets, they're going to go get your speeches, and they're going to see you saying it. And all people are listening for is, like, if you don't agree with us, right? If you're not somebody like us who understands when they say defund the police what it means, then normal people are going to say, they're going to hear him say, "I didn't say defund the police, it'll be taken out of context." And then they're going to listen to that quote, and all they're listening for is for him to say defund the police. Then they're going to hear defund the police, and they'll be like, "Yep, he's a liar." because they're not actually listening to hear there. They're not listening to understand. If he's out there saying like, yeah, I did say that, and people need to understand what I mean by that, go listen to what I said. Go read my quotes. When I said defund the police, I was talking about the things that police do that none of us like. We don't like when police just shoot people in the streets. We don't like it when police mass incarcerate people over bullshit. That's what I was saying. We should take away that mechanism for them to be able to do that. It's just such a bad political move. He should be wiping the floor with Steven. Is it Steven? Yeah, Haley Stevens.
And obviously, as you're pointing out, something people care about in that race, which is contradictory to what he said in that interview clip we aired in the introduction to you. What is El-Sayed and his campaign saying now in response to your reporting?
Yeah, so Roxy Richner, that's a spokesperson of the campaign, pointed to El-Sayed's public health experience working with local law enforcement in Wayne County, Michigan. And they told CNN in a statement that his perspective has become more nuanced. They said,
fair enough, fuck you, CNN, but also he could have avoided all of this. He could have avoided this segment. He could have made it so that this segment never existed. Fuck CNN for it. Fair enough, I guess. But I blame him. I think he could have avoided all of this.
Quote, one simple word has never been enough to fully explain the reforms we need for a complex challenge as complex as our criminal legal system, just as he did in Wayne County in 2023. Abdul believes that we need to improve law enforcement recruitment, retention, and retirement funding so that law enforcement officers come from communities they serve. He also believes we must reject militarized policing, pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, and opt for community violence intervention, behavioral health response, and improvements in public health to reduce violence and protect the lives of communities and law enforcement.
Cool. Great. That's a great statement from your spokesperson where only political nerds are going to read this. I think they're afraid of his. I think they think his message is unpopular. I think that they're whoever's running the campaign, I think they're being bitches about this. I think that they don't trust that this is a winning message. And I think they're dead wrong on that. There have been zero instances so far where being a democratic socialist and running on things like defunding the police in this way are unpopular. They're winning with these ideas. I feel like they're playing small ball, and I understand that Michigan's a swing state. I think they're overestimating what people will think about defunding the police. The swing states are won by a politician that they feel is different. Being different, being different in a way of like, hey, this is a change. This isn't just the same old shit that we've always seen. This is somebody who's going to try real things. People are willing to vote, even if they're like crazy ideas. People are willing to vote for crazy ideas if they're given actual ideas. Like a lot of people said, you've heard people say with Trump, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but we try something like bowl in a china shop, whatever. There were a lot of people like, I voted for Trump because I was tired of everybody being the exact same. And he came in and he was talking shit. And I felt like he was going to do things different. So I said, fuck it. What do we have to lose? That can work both ways. People aren't as afraid as the word socialism is, or I guess the Americans are not as afraid of the word socialism, I think, as many of us believe.
Aaron?
People tend to confuse swing states for moderates. Yeah. It's just that you have a population that is really diverse. Okay, and then this is just another misstep by him. I don't know why he does this. This was him with Mehdi Hassan. This was earlier in the year.
For calling yourself.
I'm going to be honest. I have a hard time trusting him. He's somebody that I worry can be corrupted by power. I think he's one of these people that if he wins, I don't think we should say, oh, he's good. We can't give him like the type of leash that we did with Fetterman. He makes me nervous, and it's stuff like this. Mehdi Hassan's a place where he should go and be have good answers, and this is a place where he should be able to go get clicks and get support. This was a bad answer too.
Attacked by your rivals for calling yourself a physician, not just a doctor, even though you don't have a valid state medical license in New York or Michigan, which apparently is what you need legally to call yourself a physician. Do you wish you'd just stuck to calling yourself a doctor, which you are?
You can disagree with me. That's good, Buttercakes. I'm all right with that.
To avoid all of this controversy and attacks on
But are you saying that you think that he should not be transparent? He should continue to not be transparent? You like this, like him playing political games here?
Which you are. to avoid all of this controversy and attacks on your physician status?
You know, at the end of the day, it's not about whether or not I'm a physician or a doctor. The question is, can you see a doctor?
Yeah,
it's not
it
about
is.
my education.
Yeah, it is. If you say you're a physician and people are bringing up that you're a physician, at the end of the day, it is about that. And say, I'm not a physician. I misused that word. You can even say, like, I didn't really understand. I didn't know that you had to be a practicing doctor to be considered a physician, and then move on. I'm going to let him finish. Jesus Christ, guys. Stop rooting for him. Stop it. He's going to finish. I play the clip every time.
You see a doctor. It's not about my education. It's about whether or not your kid gets a good education. So I'm just not spending
that's a good
time.
line, but people would say it's also about, did you tell the truth?
Well, I would say that I was the health director for the city of Detroit. I've done more to provide more people health care or eliminate their medical debt than most doctors have done in their practice career.
I'm from Michigan. He's been genuine and transparent. No, he's... What are you watching, Buttercakes? He's not. He deleted his tweets, and then when he's asked about the tweets, he won't answer the question. Here he's asked why he called himself a physician. He didn't answer the question here either. I like him. I hope he wins. I would vote for him if I was in Michigan. This is not transparency. We can't be the type we can't criticize the right for this, and then when it's our people just be like, oh no, this is transparency. It's not transparency. I don't blame anybody for voting for him. I would vote for him if I was in Michigan. But no, this isn't good. Like, this is just bad campaigning. What do you mean why am I being extra? What's extra about this? I think it's fear. I think we get really sensitive about criticism that is levied at the people that we like. I've covered him one time. I do a show every weekday. I've spent now 30 minutes criticizing him. I don't know if that's extra. I feel like one time and just going over these two things because these are hurting him right now. This is why it's close with Stevens. He should be dominating Stevens. It shouldn't be close, but this isn't helping him. The bars in hell, yeah. That's all I'm saying. We gotta be able to deal with criticism and also recognize that criticism is not disqualifying. There are zero perfect candidates. But if we're willing to criticize our own candidates in this way, like it creates a baseline, and it makes it so that we get better candidates, and two, it incentivizes candidates to be better candidates. He doesn't need well, let me explain what I mean by a short leash then, Buttercakes. How do you know he's not going to be corrupted? I try and look at indicators, like how do I know if I can trust a politician? If that politician is transparent, if when they misspeak, they take accountability. It's one of the reasons I really, really, really like Tim Walz. And Tim Walz got criticized a lot for owning his mistakes, and I hated that. During the last election, I kept seeing people on TikTok and on CNN, and they're like, Tim Walz needs to have a better answer than this. His answer was, I needed to be more careful with my words, knowing that this is a national campaign. I should have been more clear. I see why people were confused by that. My bad. I like that. Like we got to have a floor. I think he's going to win in Michigan, but he needs to learn from this stuff. I'm saying when he pivots to the general, I don't think he should pivot to the middle. He should pivot to the left. But if somebody's going to do this, if somebody's going to tell reporters consistently, and a great journalist like Mehdi Hasan, and he agree on everything. I think that if he's with Mehdi Hasan and he won't answer questions transparently with Mehdi Hasan, that makes me nervous. He's not a polished politician. Okay, but he's lying. He's avoiding. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him to be a polished politician. I want him to be honest. I want him to be to be honest, he looks like a pretty fucking polished politician. That's how he's coming off. He's coming off kind of scummy, like a polished politician. Avoiding, yes, lying. All right. He said that the reason he deleted his tweets was because he was going to be taken out of context. And then CNN put him in context. And the context that they put him in, CNN criticized, but it was great context. I think my criticism of him is that he is acting like a politician. I want him to act less like a politician. I want him to act more like Mamdani. Mamdani's a great politician, but he doesn't act like a politician. He's totally different. He's extremely transparent. He doesn't do the political bullshit. I'm so fucking tired of these politicians. And El Sayed gives me, he just gives me politician vibes. I just want to be a little better. And us criticizing him wouldn't change anything, by the way. I think that me criticizing him, if there was somebody that was on the fence that was watching this, I think my criticism of him would add credibility to what he's doing. And I think the people that are hearing my argument versus his argument, I think if you put me in a focus group and him in a focus group, at the end of it, what he said, he's going to come out looking worse than what I'm saying. I think people coming out of what I'm saying is going to make him look better. Because I'm actually highlighting his ideas and saying these are actually really good ideas, and he's not highlighting his own good ideas. He's running from them. That makes sense? Agree to disagree, I guess. He's the best option we have. We can't eat our own right now. Yes, we're not. I'm not eating our own. Like, we have to be able to criticize people. All of our own. There is nobody above criticism. That agree to disagree, we can't, like, vote blue no matter who. Like, that's what gets us with the shitty. That's why we have Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries sitting around not doing a goddamn thing. That's why we don't get good candidates. It's because of that. Well, they're the best we have. Let's make them better. We can make, like, El Sayed, he's probably going to win, and then he's going to run in a general. If he wins and we're criticizing him and he gets that, and obviously this is a small show. This isn't going to affect him at all. But if more people were saying this about him, what would the people advising him say? Like if it was, let's say if it was Hassan, it was David Pakman, it was Brian Tyler Cohen. Well, if they were all saying what I was saying, his advisors would sit down with him and they'd be like, hey, you know what? The people with a big following are thinking like, hey, you actually are pulling back when you should be like exposing yourself a little bit more. You should. The people seem like they actually want more of you, and you're giving less of you. Like I think he's playing small. I want him to be more out there. I want him to push his voice more. I understand that we fear that. But that's how we've had these weak-ass Democrats for so long. They convince us that we should be afraid of being really progressive. But every time we do something really progressive, it winds up popular and the movement grows. Like I saw 57%, I think we showed that the other day, 50% of the votes cast so far in the midterms, primary midterms, are Democrats. Those are like historic highs. Democrats are really, really motivated to vote right now. And they're most motivated to vote with Democratic Socialists. So people should be leaning into that. And that's all I'm saying about El Sayed. I like his idea. I like his campaign. I like his platform. I think he needs to lean in. And it feels like he's pulling back. And Haley Stevens would be a bad option. I agree. But if he leans in, I think he runs away with this. I just think that's silly, but okay, we can agree to disagree there. Like, I don't give a fuck what the top DSA candidates say. He's endorsed by the top candidates. He's the choice. We can argue about the BS later. No, we hold our, I guess we just view things differently. I'm always going to try and hold politicians accountable. I don't want people representing me who come off looking slimy. And I'm not going to like throw my weight behind people that do things that look slimy. So, I mean, they all endorsed Graham Plattner too. Should we say that we should Graham Plattner's the best we have? Should we just? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's giving. I would still vote for Plattner. And again, to be clear about okay, so this would be a very I want to be clear on this because it would be very unfair if what you thought I was saying right now was that he is like Graham Plattner. I'm not making that comparison at all. See, exactly. I'm not making that comparison at all. That they're doing the same thing, but it's the same. But it's the same principle. It's the same principle that we shouldn't criticize them because they're our best choice. America needs to criticize their politicians way more. I think it does. The fact that Democrats in the last 2 years have lost their approval rating, like their approval ratings at all-time lows, and they're winning elections. What does that tell us? It tells us that approval ratings don't mean a goddamn thing. It tells us that people aren't afraid to vote for Democrats or Democratic Socialists or progressives. They don't like the establishment Democrats. I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? Like, they've never been less popular, and yet in midterms, they've never been more popular. So it's the wrong people. And holding this standard gives us credibility. It gives us credibility with voters who are on the fence. If you become a party or a movement that doesn't shy away from criticizing leadership, I think you wind up as a more credible movement and a stronger movement. I mean, in what scenario is being transparent and honest bad? I think we're just afraid of that. We're afraid of playing big. We're afraid of saying, like, we're going to hold these people accountable. But that's how you fix this, and it's how you win back credibility. Democrats aren't going to be popular by winning an election and then doing the exact same shit. If Democrats want popularity, progressives want it not to just be the midterms. If they want this to be a movement going forward that lasts decades, then be prepared for some of these people to disappoint you. Be prepared. Be open-minded to the idea that El Sayed could disappoint you, that he could be corrupted. Open your mind to that and hold him accountable. And if he's not, he's not. But like, that type of pressure gives us the best candidates. Michigan's on the brink of Republican control, and we can't let that happen. Right. So join us. So hold them accountable. What I'm saying, Buttercakes, is my way. What I'm talking about is is how somebody like El Sayed can be leading in the polls. It's this type of transparency. It's this type of movement. It's these type of like fearless ideas that got him where he is in the first place. And now he's pulling back. He's being told by the Dems, pull back, pull back, pull back. Don't pull back. Don't do it. Everybody that's voting for Stevens is going to vote for him. It's not like when he beats Stevens that all these Stevens voters are going to go vote for Republicans. They're not. They're going to vote for him too. And on the other side, just think like on the other side, in the independents and any Republicans that you can pick off, what do independents and Republicans what type of things might motivate them to vote for a Democratic Socialist? Being anti-APAC, being anti-PAC money in general, and appearing like you're honest and that you're actually trying to fix things. That pulls those people too. And he's got to look at the general. I don't think sliding to the middle helps him in the general. I think that helps Republicans, which is, by the way, think of it this way. Buttercakes, do you think CNN would be doing this hit piece on him if they weren't trying to move him to the middle? And does CNN want him in power? No. They want Stevens. But do you think the people at CNN, do you think they would rather have him or Rogers? They want Rogers. So don't give him the ammunition. Reverse the ammunition on him. There's a reason that there was a 5-minute K-file on a tweet. They're not running this shit on Rogers. They're trying to smear him. And the only way that you really avoid smears is by being transparent and like rising above it. Ignoring it and being like, "Oh, that's a dumb question, I'm not answering it." That doesn't help the people who don't trust you. Even if those tweets were different, like even if he said abolish the police, when he's in an interview, if they're like, "Hey, you said abolish the police," he could say, "Yeah, I did say that. I was wrong about that. I was in the heat of the moment. I was so mad at what I was seeing that I was like, abolish the police." But then I met with people, and like that's not the right solution. The solution is we need to like change where some of this money goes. We need to restructure the police. We need to make sure that they're not mass incarcerating people. It's a great answer. There's a lot of answers he could have gone with, but the worst possible answer is, "Don't ask me that question. That's a silly question. Nobody cares about that." Well, obviously people care about it. And if they didn't before, now it's on CNN, and they see him not answering the question. It's just not a good look. And Democrats are forced to play they're forced to play by a different set of rules than Republicans. They're forced to be more honest. They're forced to be more transparent. Any scandal is bigger on the Democratic side than the Republican side. I'm not interested in becoming more like the Republicans, though. I'm interested in becoming less like the Republicans and creating like a massive divide between the two. And imagine if we were part of a party where they're like, "Oh, these Republicans are all slimy politicians," and the Democrats, they make mistakes, but look at them. They always own their mistakes. They're honest about it. They tell you what they're doing. people are more likely to vote for people they trust than scummy politicians. But if we're just like, be a scummy politician, then we just have this back and forth. Like Michigan will just continue to be a swing state going back and forth over and over again. William said, I agree. If we don't push a candidate to the left, you're getting pushed to the right. Okay. And by the way, Buttercakes, I really, really appreciate your pushback. And thank you for being here. I'm going to move on, but I just want you to know, no hard feelings. I like that type of pushback. I like that our audience pushes back. So thank you. Buddy said, I got 5 on it. Appreciate it. M said, Antifa dudes, everyone should check out their local DSA chapter, see what the platform is like. It might surprise you. All right. Got that. Okay. Moving on. Holy shit. I took a long time on that. Let me go. This just made me happy. This is a GOP representative, French Hill. He was on with Maria Bartiromo. I think, is it today is the last day Trump has to sign the housing bill? If he doesn't sign the housing bill, it just becomes law. And Maria Bartiromo had to have this explained to her by a Republican twice.
Let me get your take on the 21st Century Road to Housing. It passed overwhelmingly.
Oh, no sorries, Buttercakes. No sorries. I appreciate the pushback, honestly.
Bipartisan support. You worked hard on that bill. What are your expectations? Does this become law even though the president doesn't sign it?
It certainly can. Article 1, Section 7 says that at midnight tonight, if the president has not signed it into law, nor has he vetoed it, then the 21st Century Road to Housing Act will become law tonight, just past midnight. It's an important bill. It's a bipartisan bill, as you note, but it unlocks the supply side to lowering the cost for constructing housing, building more housing. And our biggest challenge is housing supply since the end of the global
It's not my music, for the record. It's them trying to cut him off.
Financial crisis. We have just not had different kinds of supply keep up with demand across the country for all kinds of housing units, and that's why this bill is needed and why it's got such strong support in both chambers.
But I don't understand how it becomes law even though the president doesn't sign it, Congressman.
Section 7 of the Constitution says the president has basically there are 3 choices when Congress passes a bill and sends it to the president's desk. He may sign it, he may veto it, or 10 days after it's transmitted to the White House, it becomes law without his signature.
There you go. That's it. Okay. Congressman, good to see you this morning. Thank you,
Civics 101, Maria.
Civics 101. Yeah. Yeah, that's a shot at you, Maria. I love that. Who's just said socialism won't win? Too many guns in this country. Listen, I don't know how many socialists you know, but you'd be surprised at how pro 2A socialists are. But I appreciate the indoctrination that you have there. They're going to take away your guns. I don't know how much you know about socialists. They're not exactly the most outspoken socialists aren't exactly the most peaceful people. They're not afraid of a little revolution. I, for the record, am not a socialist, nor am I a communist, but you're going to be surprised when you show up and they've got guns too. Yeah, go far enough left to get your guns back. Yeah, first of all, you have your guns. Never in America have we had more guns. Never. And no president, like Obama didn't try and take your guns away. Biden didn't try and take your guns away. Democrats don't try and take your guns away. Stop being afraid of shit that doesn't happen. If you're going to be afraid of shit that isn't real, be afraid of like Sasquatch or the Loch Ness Monster or Jesus or something. Like, if you're going to be afraid of things that are fake, pick something cooler to be afraid of. Stop being like, I'm afraid they're going to take away my guns. They're not taking away your guns, unfortunately. Some of you probably shouldn't have them. All right. Trump did, though. Do you remember Trump banned bump stocks? Remember that? Imagine if Joe Biden banned bump stocks. Bring in the gallows. Trump did it. It's like, oh, it's probably good reason for it, I bet. Mar said, this is just constructive criticism, which everyone should be open to. It makes you better. I agree. I was just trying to constructively criticize Abdul El Sayed. All right. This is what somebody recommended this yesterday from A More Perfect Union, and I wanted to pick up on it. If you remember where we left the show yesterday, is we were talking about school choice and the vouchers and the way that schools, states that are doing voucher programs and charter schools, they are blowing holes in their budgets, and they're not getting the results that they want. This is More Perfect Union discussing the school choice movement and how absolutely fucked it is and fraudulent it is. MAGA, if you're here and you hate waste, fraud, and abuse, and at the end of this, you still support school vouchers, we are left with only one conclusion, that you do not hate waste, fraud, and abuse. trigger warning to everybody who thinks that kids should get an education and we shouldn't be stealing from education. This is going to piss you off.
We've heard some powerful people repeat 3 words a lot over the past year.
When you look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse.
Waste, fraud, and abuse.
Republicans have been working to root out waste, fraud, and abuse.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. Now let me add a few more words. Lego Tower, Yeti Cooler, Sony PlayStation 5, diamond ring, baby doll One Piece, and condoms.
A Ninja air fryer. SeaWorld, Disney World.
Taxpayer money bought all of this with funds meant for education.
If you're going to Disneyland and calling it social studies, I have a problem with that.
The problem is called school vouchers. They've created a whole...
Does an educator want to give an overview of charter schools for those in the chat? Charter schools are schools that are, they're kind of like a private school, but they're open to the public. They are funded, like in my state, they are funded by the students. Like you come with the student, like you bring your student there, and then you get a voucher from the state, and it pays for the charter school. Charter schools don't have the same regulations as public schools. They can be for profit. Yeah, it's like a hybrid private school. It's like a private school that is paid for with public money, and charter schools have to be more open enrollment than like private schools.
Whole new market for actual waste, fraud, and abuse.
It has ballooned into a $1 billion boondoggle that is rife with misspending and fraud.
Thousands of parents spent money on things the education department said were not allowed, and the price tag, over $10 million.
Lawmakers know what's going on, but they're often not doing anything to stop it, and it's throwing the future of education into disarray.
School vouchers have been an absolute calamity.
There's no accountability.
Somebody said they can deny entry to a student. I don't know if every rule or every state is the same. In Arizona, charter schools have to enroll eligible students. Like the only reason, like as long as you apply on time, you are eligible. So they can't deny admission based on like ethnicity, nationality, income, proficiency, disability, or athletic ability. The only time they can deny people, or they're supposed to, and I'm sure that there's been times they get around this, but if the school's at capacity, they have to have some sort of like equitable selection process. Like most of the time it's a lottery. It's supposed to be a blind lottery. They can choose to not let somebody in who's been expelled by another school. And then I think they can deny people if you've had like suspensions, if you have like really, really poor academic performance. And I don't think that you can be denied for like essays, interviews, or tours. So it's mostly open. I'm sure they find ways around it, and I don't know if that's the same in every state. I only know Arizona's rules, so some of you might have different rules in different states.
Transparency, look at the data, look at the numbers.
We went to Arizona and discovered a radical experiment remaking public education. And it's just the tip of the iceberg.
They've been running a campaign for decades.
School choice. School choice.
Universal school choice.
Empowering parents to make the choices for their kids.
And their opponent is public schools.
They'll tell you it's for the disadvantaged kid, it's for the special needs kid. But once the camel's nose is under the tent, it's over.
Vouchers can't.
I don't even know what that. I don't know what that means. Once the camel's nose is under the tent, what is that metaphor? I don't know what that means.
Dedicated money for public schools.
This is what they don't tell you about school vouchers. Tell me about this place and what it means to you.
This is my children's school, Kalina. They've been here since they were 5 years old, since they started kindergarten. They're twins.
Allie O'Rourke is
I own camels and I don't know what it means. Okay, I'm not the only one. Okay.
Teacher and parent in Phoenix, Arizona. Last year, she was part of a committee forced to close several underfunded public schools.
I'm not blind to the cost of our decision. 2 of the campuses proposed are my children's school and where I work.
You're on YouTube, did you know that?
Unfortunately, yes. I've gotten many people have sent me clips.
I've seen you on YouTube.
Crying,
yes,
nonetheless.
you were crying.
This is really overwhelming and sad. My girls will need to transfer schools multiple times in the next 2 years. And I will have to adapt to a new community, new admin, and new staff.
You can see me leaving that meeting for a brief moment to collect myself because I was just so emotional. I was so sad about it. That's been our children's home. I was PTO president for a few years. We found our kids.
I didn't. Did I block Tom? Did somebody block Tom? I don't know. Someone might have blocked Tom. Sin. Sorry. Did you lose a friend?
Kids' best friends there.
I don't know how to block people. I might have said block Tom. I don't remember if I did or not. But if somebody just blocked him, it wasn't me because I don't know how to do that.
They've grown up there.
Being on the committee, trying to figure out how you guys are going to close these schools.
I bet it was Casey.
What were the alternatives?
Sometimes we have someone dedicated to helping students learn to read because we are in a world where students are not able to read, and we're seeing that become harder and harder. And so that was one of the things they considered cutting.
Over the past 4 years, Arizona has been pulling money out of public schools and redirecting it to universal school vouchers.
Yeah, Tampa, Kyrene used to be one of the most sought after school districts in the Valley. It was. The way that this is decimated, even I'm in my kid's in Mesa School District, and the way that charter schools have like decimated public schools is really, really sad.
Dozens of schools across the state have closed since vouchers were expanded, and Alley's district alone lost $12 million in a single year. How do you feel about school vouchers?
I think if they're used appropriately, I think they have good purposes. I know that there are students that need very specialized instruction. Being in special education, I see those kids, but ultimately, I don't think they're being used for the intended purpose.
The vouchers are called Empowerment Scholarship Accounts, or ESAs. Any student, regardless of income.
You guys seen or heard of Greg Palast documentary Vigilantes, Inc.? It is eye-opening. On God, Not Bother, Purge, Suppression, maybe a good movie for movie night, only an hour and 19 minutes. That's the second time somebody's brought up Greg Palast. I saved it for later. I haven't seen it yet, but the second person.
Receive up to $10,000 to use for private education, including non-accredited schools, tutoring, and homeschooling. But the voucher money can also be used for other educational expenses, which apparently includes things like Xboxes and Disney vacations.
To me, the most stunning thing about the program is not fraud, but rather like what's allowed. You can buy $30,000 of Legos across multiple years. You can buy a $4,000 harp, and that's an educational expense.
Perfect.
Folks are using these funds all around the world to go to Windsor Castle, to go to various zoos in Australia.
But guys, when we were feeding kids that were dying all across the world, that was waste, fraud, and abuse. I just want to, for the Republicans that are here who are, instead of engaging, complaining about Tom right now, where the fuck are you guys right now? That's my knowledge harp. Where are you guys right now? We're going to talk about this? This is actually your place. This is why Republicans want to get rid of the Department of Education for this.
Thousands went to a tutoring company that doesn't seem to exist. We only know about these expenditures because a local news outlet sued the state to find out.
Why should we be feeding kids in other countries? Because Jesus said so. Jesus said that you should take care of the poor and the needy. That's why. I don't know. I don't think kids should. I think if we have money and they need food, we should just not let them die. I don't know. Call me crazy. I guess that's the evil socialist in us. We don't want people to die of starvation.
12 News has fought for access.
I don't give a fuck. It's not our responsibility. Listen, bitch, nobody asked you. Of course, it's not your responsibility, but there's good people in this world, and some of us just don't want to see kids die. If you don't give a fuck about kids dying, that's fine. You can hold that opinion. But don't get mad when people say you guys don't care about kids. You know what I mean? Seems like you only care about kids when it comes to abortion. And then other than that, you're like, fuck them kids. So just remember that you were the person in the chat saying, fuck those kids, let the kids die. That's your opinion. My opinion is, let's help them live. Your opinion is, fuck them, let them die. That's cool. Agree to disagree.
To public records, and now we're the only media outlet in Arizona.
I'm speaking to you, sweetheart. I'm not... This is what my problem with some of you Republicans. I ask you to speak, you speak, I disagree with you, and then you're like, why'd you ask me to speak if you were just going to disagree with me? That's what we do, but toughen up. You just said you don't give a fuck if kids starve to death. Stand 10 toes down. I do give a fuck. I don't think kids should starve to death, and I think if we have the means to help them, we should do that, which we do, but we decided not to.
To have detailed receipts of what was purchased on your dime.
$1,500 gift cards, electric dirt bikes, custom tires, even sexually explicit items, including condoms and lubricants.
Arizona is the oldest of the universal.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, what an idiot. What an idiot. This guy thinks kids should live. What a fucking idiot. I love it. Keep talking. This is good. I hope we have some undecided voters here. This is the difference between me pushing for progressive candidates and MAGA. MAGA said, fuck them kids.
Voucher systems. It is the goal.
Why must we feed the world when we can't even feed ourselves? We should feed ourselves, too. We should feed poor people in America, too, and stop giving tax breaks to billionaires and paying $1 trillion a year to blow up other countries. Yeah, we should feed the whole world before we worry about murdering more people all over the world. Yeah, we should take care of the people here and there. We should do that.
Gold standard for what not to do and how to do what not to do.
Tom Horn, the state superintendent running Arizona's ESA program, continues to defend it, even as spending has ballooned to over $1 billion in just 4 years. In fact, the state even auto-approves any expenditure under $2,000.
With this kind of quantity, we can't audit everything before paying it. And if there's anything improper there, we'll cloud back.
We should take care of our country first. Yeah, well, Republicans don't want to take care of poor people in this country either. So if you're interested in taking care of this country first, might I entice you with the Democratic Socialists of America, who are actively advocating for child care and food programs for children who don't have access to food. If you care about the kids in this country, you wouldn't vote for Republican. It's an ironic thing that you guys do. We can't take care of other countries until we take care of ours. Let's take care of ours. No, let's give the money to the billionaires. The oil companies need more money. We got to build more big weapons. You know what I mean? When you guys do a goddamn thing for starving children in this country, you can talk. But all you've done is cut money to those programs and demonize poor people. So, yeah, respectfully, shut the fuck up until you guys have a plan to take care of people in this country.
You could buy your wife a diamond ring with the $2,000 because Tom Horn has set up a system that has 0 audits on the front end. That's a recipe for disaster.
Perfect. Yeah, why would we want to audit where this money's going? Where's Nick Shirley on this shit? Oh, he's a white guy. It's a white guy. Oh, we don't investigate the white guys. Oh, he's a Republican. We don't do that. No, we don't investigate white Republicans. Nick Shirley's. It's a quick drive. Nick, you can stay at my house. We have you're going to my cousin's wedding. You're one of the groomsmen in my cousin's wedding. Let's hook up. You can come down. You can stay at my house. We'll work on it together.
To prevent fraud, and here the Attorney General pipes off with her imagination.
The plan is to create more jobs. Well, if the Republican plan was to create new jobs, you fucked that one up either. Or two. Like, you're not creating new jobs either. You're just giving money to, like, this is how fucking easy it is to dupe you guys. The Republicans literally are just killing jobs and giving all the money to a handful of billionaires. And we got dumb fucks going, the plan is to do more jobs. We're going to do more jobs. We got to take care of the children in this country. Yeah, well, they're not doing that, and they're not making more jobs. They're just giving all the money to the billionaires. How much longer do you dipshits have to ride this fucking ride? Let's find a new one. I'm so tired of you. Like, at this point, I don't even know what the fuck we do with you. Honest to God. Everything is going fucking poorly. All of it. It all fucking sucks. Inflation, up. Unemployment, up. Jobs, down. Housing, up. Groceries, up. Everything has gotten worse since Donald Trump took office, and you guys are like, we're winning. And also, you're not fucking winning. You're losing everywhere. Every time there's a contested election where a Democrat and a Republican are within 5 points of each other, since Trump took office, you lost. You have lost 100% of the time when there was a challenger, and you dumb fucks are still here going, we're winning and everything's great. No, it's bad. It's really fucking bad. And we're also in this dumb fucking war with Iran that is unwinnable. And we're spending billions of dollars every single month, billions of dollars for an unwinnable war because Trump has an ego. Things could not have gone worse. It has been worse than we all thought. I knew it was going to be bad. Holy fuck. I didn't know it was going to be like this. I don't know what to do with you folks. I don't know what you're watching. Literally, everything has gotten worse. There is not a single thing that Donald Trump has done that has made things in this country better. And you're like, but what if it was a socialist? If it was a socialist, poor people would have more food. Rich people would be forced to more equally distribute that wealth. I'm not a socialist, but holy shit, in comparison to Trump, I'm like, God, maybe we ought to do some socialism. At least it'll fix some of the problems. Iran's not unwinnable, then why didn't we win, Whiskey Tango? If it's not unwinnable, then why didn't we win? Why is the war still going? It is unwinnable. You know why it's unwinnable? Because we're not going to invade Iran. And the only way that we can beat Iran is by a ground war in Iran. And we're not going to do it. And we're not going to do it for a lot of reasons. But number one, because nobody wants to do it. And we don't want to do it because the war doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no reason for us to invade Iran. There was no reason for us to bomb them. So we're just stuck. And we're just stuck because our president's an egomaniac. And you guys, you would ride this out forever. You think we didn't beat Iraq, we didn't beat Afghanistan. Oh, suddenly we're going to be able to take out Iran? We can't win these wars. They're forever wars. Unless we decide to go nuke these countries, then they're just forever. And there's no reason to nuke them, and Donald Trump doesn't have the support to nuke them, so we're just spending billions of dollars for what reason? Nothing. You guys are so goddamn dumb. Blows my mind. Trudy, thank you for knocking out the rest of the gift goals. Big W for Trudy in the chat. Said Jen's had enough stress for 1 week. And Big W for sending $150 over on Venmo. Appreciate that. Always so generous. Sharon said, Doist superset fell. Movie is on voter suppression. I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure what that meant.
Talking about alleged waste.
An Arizona state...
We stand with you, Mr. Trump. He's not here, bitch. Don, he's not fucking here. Don't address your comments to Mr. Trump. He's not here. He's shitting his pants somewhere. He's not here. Look. You see Trump in the room with you? He's not here. You big galoot.
Last month found $654 million in auto-approved expenses. Even Amazon, when we tried to buy all of this stuff, flagged it as fraud.
I have had to do criminal prosecutions of individuals who made up ghost children and fabricated birth certificates.
Ghost children.
Ghost children.
Boo. After Arizona expanded its voucher program in 2022.
No problem though, right? Just because it's Republicans doing it. Everything a Republican ever accuses anybody else of doing is just exactly what they're doing. There's ghost voters. Oh, there wasn't ghost voters. Oh, but you do have ghost students. Last week, dipshit Dr. Oz tried to convince us that there were 1 million people on Obamacare who were not real people because they didn't use their insurance for a year. So they were just fake people. And that wasn't true. But this is.
A wave of states followed suit, and many soon experienced similar problems.
On any given...
So everyone is doing it? No, Mark, you dumb motherfucker. No! The things that Republicans are telling you are happening are not happening, and the things that they're telling you are not happening are happening. Not everybody's doing it. You guys are doing it, and you're too stupid to figure it out. I'm talking to you, goddammit, Mark. The things that Dr. Oz said were not true. These things are true. That's not both people doing it. That's one group doing it. You are a moldy potato. The Leering Centers wasn't true? That question doesn't make any fucking sense. The Leering Center wasn't true? What do you mean it wasn't true? It was a place that was misspelled. And no, Nick Shirley did not find any fraud at the Leering Center. Didn't find any. So no, your question doesn't make sense. But no, whatever you're saying about it that you got from Nick Shirley was not true. This is what I'm talking about. Like you guys, could you just Google something? Could you just fact check anything ever? Like you just believe it? No, it's not satire. What happened at the Learning Center? What was the fraud that the Learning Center committed? Watch this. Their response will be, come on, man. You know. Oh, dude, now you're just lying. I'm leaving this channel. This guy's an idiot. What not one Republican will do is tell me what the Leering Center did, how they were proven to have committed fraud. Not one of you knows what they did. In fact, they weren't shut down for fraud. None of you know that. I'm going to ask for specifics, and you're going to criticize me instead. Watch. We'll play the video now.
The Florida Department of Education has trouble tracking $270 million in voucher funds.
Taking money and claiming they had people enrolled when they didn't get funds. Nope, nobody proved that. That didn't happen. Do you have any evidence to back that up? You don't? No? Okay. Nick Shirley went there when it was closed. Like, there's no people here. Yeah, bitch, it's closed.
An audit found that Florida had trouble tracking 30,000 students within the private voucher system.
It's surprising given the language and the rhetoric around.
Why did they close down? They chose to close down. I don't know, but they didn't get caught doing fraud. Otherwise, they would be charged for fraud, right?
Waste, fraud, and abuse, that is inconsistently applied to public agencies versus parents who are using public dollars.
So you believe Al Capone is only guilty of tax evasion? Answer the question, Jay. What did they do? Tell me the details of the fraud that they committed and where you got that evidence. I can't. That's why I'm talking about Al Capone instead.
When you
Not yet, dipshit. Yeah, and if they do get caught committing fraud, then I'm going to say, hey, look, they committed fraud. I don't guess that people committed fraud before there's evidence. You guys are saying that they did, and there's no evidence. I wait until there's evidence.
Make a purchase that you know will benefit your students. What is it that you have to go through in order to make that happen?
A lot of times I choose...
And for the record, what I'm showing you right now is Republican fraud. Evidence of Republican fraud right in front of your faces, and you're still talking about the Leering Center. Why? Because you only care about fraud when it's Democrats or black and brown people. You don't care about fraud when it's rich white thieves.
Not to go through the school to make that happen. If I need supplies for my classroom, just pencils, papers,
Thank you, Bear. Said love it.
sticks, scissors, a lot of that is just donations from families.
And while teachers and students rely on donated pencil and paper, private schools are cashing in.
They're just jacking up their tuition rates as the ESAs become available.
In Iowa, a lot of schools are saying you have to apply for the ESA as part of our application.
I don't think there's much of it.
Mark, if you care about this fraud, then talk about this fraud. Stop talking about other fraud. We don't believe that you care about this fraud because while we're showing it, you're talking about other fraud. So talk about this. Tell us why you still support Republicans when they want this type of fraud to continue. They're campaigning on this. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. They want to get rid of public education so that they can have more of this fraud. How do you look at this program, which is rife with fraud in every single state, and the Republicans say we need more of this? Right? That's why we don't believe you.
Evidence at all that this is really helping underserved communities.
Even some families who use the vouchers have complicated feelings about them.
So Zoe was in fantastic public school from kindergarten through 4th grade.
I had a teacher.
ESA is Empowerment Scholarship Account. That's what they call the vouchers. That's what they call them in Arizona. I don't know if they call them that in other states as well, but in Arizona, ESA is Empowerment Scholarship Account, which is just the vouchers that takes money out of the public school and goes to the charter school.
She didn't understand my autistic trait.
No, Mark. The fraud that happened in Minnesota just wasn't at the Leering Center. There was fraud in Minnesota, but not the one you were pointing at. And I covered that 9 months before Nick Shirley did. I knew about it long before any of you, and I covered it long before any of you cared about it. There was fraud, and just not what Nick Shirley. Like, Nick Shirley literally didn't expose any fraud. But care about this. Last chance, bud. The only thing you're allowed to say, Mark, for the rest of this show And mods, just mute his comments if he says anything else. All you're allowed to talk about is what's on the screen from now on, Mark, for the rest of the show. Thanks.
And she kept on sending me to detention.
Well, that's no good, Mom.
No. So that's when we decided to apply for the ESA and move to a private school. I think in our case, the ESA was the right way to go, and I'm grateful for it. I just wish that our public schools were in a better situation to meet the needs of all kids.
And now
But they're not. The reason that Arizona's public schools, and this is the dirty fucking trick of these Christian nationalists, and that, make no doubt about it, that's who's behind this. The dirty trick is they take the money out of the public schools by giving them to charter schools, and then they point at the public schools and go, look at these failing schools. They kill the school, and then they're like, look at these Democrat-run cities. Look how poor the schools are doing in Democrat-run cities. And they point to poor areas where it matters even more, where the funds are being ripped from. Because they're funded by property taxes, right? So property taxes are already low. And on the occasion that you can get some of these people in poor areas where they can get access to a charter school, they have a ride to get there. That money that was going to that public school now is pulled out of the public school, and they defund these public schools, and then they point at the schools and they blame them. I have this argument with my Republican friends all the time who are like, we have to defund education because look at what happens to public education. Yeah, because we keep stealing from it. ESAs are for private or homeschool. I thought you could use the ESA for a charter school too. Am I wrong about that, Jamie? I know you can use it for private and homeschool. Am I wrong? Is that not the same name as the voucher that you use for a charter school? Is there a different name for it? I'm with you, Jamie. I just thought it was the same name. Do you know what the name is then for the voucher?
Any student in Arizona can apply for a school voucher. Educators say that resources for special education have become more scarce, while the percentage of special needs students has actually increased. Dr. Curtis Finch is the superintendent for the Deer Valley Unified School District in North Phoenix.
We are feeling tremendous pressure to service those kids with less dollars.
Public schools are required to accept special...
Democrats have already said they will pack the court if they regain power. Yeah, because you guys packed the court. You guys bought the court. The courts are corrupt. There's nothing wrong with packing the courts. It's constitutional. That doesn't mean we hate America. It means we hate the Supreme Court that was bought and paid for. A corrupt Supreme Court. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. Hopefully. If Democrats have a spine, you goddamn better believe, and stand proud, 10 toes down, pack the fucking courts. That's what you guys did. That's how you have a 6-3 majority. You packed the courts. You broke all the rules. You packed the courts, and now we have to undo that. Yep, that's what we're going to do. It's not because we hate America. It's because we hate fascism. Because we hate Christian nationalism. And you guys have hijacked our courts with Christian nationalists, and we need to take those back.
Needs students. Private schools are not. So while special needs students have almost doubled in Deer Valley, the district lost $40 million to vouchers in 2024 alone.
Brilliant.
Over 80% went to students already enrolled in private school. What does that say about the voucher system, that there has been an increase in special ed students in public schools after it was instituted?
You hear the argument.
Anybody who wants me to define fascism, you have to call in. You call GenDub1, J-E-N, or message GenDub1 on Discord, JENNDUBB1, and we will go through the 14 tenets of fascism together, and we will determine whether or not Donald Trump and this Republican regime is fascist. But I don't have time to define words for you. You got to show a little bit of courage yourself. You can come up and we'll discuss it.
Oh, it's a choice environment. The problem is not the parents' choice. It's the school's choice. If your student has academic troubles, has behavior troubles, has special needs, we're not going to service you. You need to go down to the local public school. That's one variable. The other variable is special needs students often come back to Deer Valley, and I think that's what's happening a lot. They come back to the public school because we're highly regulated. We have a small army to help these students.
But the idea of schools open to every type of student is precisely what vouchers were
I don't know
originally.
who sent that, the All Hail Satan Venmo. Thank you. I didn't see the name on that. And William said, I regret saying you didn't take your meds this morning. Your message is on point today. Thank you.
Intended to dismantle.
The modern school voucher push started with Milton Friedman, who was a conservative economist who wrote a pamphlet. If government was going to be involved at all in funding.
I saw that Oslo. I don't know what it confirms. I didn't know the date of when that footage is. Oslo's saying CNN obtained footage of McConnell being carried out in a stretcher. I saw that before, but I didn't even know the date on that, so I didn't put it on here.
Education, it should be to give parents essentially coupons.
I would have a voucher system.
David, you've said I'm getting mean behind the little camera like 12 times. I see you, bud. Sometimes I'm mean. You doing okay, bud? So that's about the 20th time you've written that message. I get it. I'm being mean. Okay. I'm sorry I said bad words that offended your sensibilities. I'll try and do better.
Under which parents who chose not to send their child to a particular public school would be entitled to a payment, a voucher, which they could use at any school of their choice.
It was quickly seized upon by segregationists as a way to avert the Brown versus Board of Education decision and to use taxpayer dollars to go to what were called segregation academies.
After segregation academies were ruled unconstitutional in the 70s, vouchers were rebranded as a way to help students who'd been left behind by failing public schools. But
the all hell Satan was from Savage Mom. Thank you.
There's little evidence that the private schools taking public money are better than public schools.
When we started to see voucher programs become what we call at scale, what we saw at that time was kids who switched from public to private school using a voucher suffered some of the worst academic declines we've ever seen in sort of the history of education research, frankly. You're talking natural disaster bad.
Most private schools across the country still take public dollars and are not required to actually take tests to prove that they're putting out a good product. When you get to choose your students, then you would think they would score better.
Why is it that they're so dead set on this voucher system and the way that it is?
Always follow the money.
So there are the billionaires, and then there are the think tanks and the advocacy groups that the billionaires fund.
These funders include Trump's former
Republicans will just pack the court when they take power again. It's a slippery slope. How many justices is enough? 9, 15. SCOTUS needs reform and standards. Well, that's true too. I'm with you there. YKSD, we do need reform and standards. Term limits wouldn't be the worst idea there. Some sort of system, like right now, the Supreme Court, and I think everybody could probably agree on this regardless of party, and I think that's a good point for you to say that. Right now, the Supreme Court is basically ruled that they will police themselves. That's never a good idea to have the government be like, we'll just police ourselves. That's not good. So I agree with that. I don't know how many justices are enough, but the first thing that you need to do with the Supreme Court in order to make changes, you're going to have to pack the courts. And then, you're going to have to go through Congress. The thing is, if you pack the courts first, then Republicans in Congress are going to be incentivized to reform SCOTUS. Right now, there's no incentive to do reform. So if Democrats were to win the midterms and they bring up SCOTUS reform, Republicans don't want that because they have that 6-3 majority. But if they don't have the majority anymore, in fact, if they lose the majority, then they have an incentive for reform. I think that's the order that you have to do things in and set standards. But I think packing the court first is there and then write laws.
Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos, Jeff Yazd, and conservative.
What do you think is the best argument for packing the courts? I would say the best argument for packing the courts for me, or are you saying like to the voters? For me, the best argument for packing the courts is you have to undo the corruption that's there. It's obviously corrupt. I also think that 9 people is kind of a low number, especially given the age of some of these people and the last time they practiced. I think that's a small number of people. I would like if you got it up to 15, 20 people, I think you're going to have varying degrees of opinions. I think the best argument is pack the courts and then to undo the problem that we have now, and then change the rules and the reforms, make sure they can't take outside money. Make that disqualifying, because the problem we have right now is like we say it's disqualifying if you take bribes, but they obviously take bribes and it's not disqualifying and they still get pushed through. So we can't count on Congress to like just do the right thing. There has to be real rules. And I haven't dug far enough into there to know what, like, I think we could probably put our heads together and come up with a set of rules and regulations and laws for the Supreme Court justices. That would actually probably be a good activity for me to do. But that's my argument, is that it's the quickest way to end the corruption is to pack the courts first. And then use that leverage, go to the conservatives and be like, hey, if we keep doing this, we're going to have corrupt judges in here too. So let's make sure that the judges, even if they're already in here and they're corrupt, let's make reforms so that they can't be corrupt. That's probably the best argument I could come up with off the top of my head. Above pizza group size makes it hard to get consensus. What do you mean? If there's 13, right? It could be 6, 7. 7, 6. I shouldn't have said 6, 7. Thank God my daughter's not here. I mean, you just need a simple majority, right? I don't know that you need consensus. I would like more dissenting views. I would like more broad views from the judges.
Donor Charles Koch.
You communists are losing support.
They,
where are you, bud? Nobody here is a communist. You're in the wrong chat.
Will tell you flat out it is to remake schooling in the image of Christian nationalism.
There are not enough philanthropic dollars in America to fund what is currently the need in education. Our desire is to confront the culture in which we all live today in ways which will continue to help advance God's kingdom.
And DeVos has spent millions backing vouchers in Arizona specifically.
I'm a huge fan of what Arizona and Governor Ducey and the legislators there were able to achieve, and I do believe that it will open the door for many other universal programs.
What Trump 1 did, what the first Trump administration did, is it sort of changed the way we talk about education.
What a great-looking class.
They just stopped telling the truth.
Great news from the EPA. Lead paint has been nearly eradicated after MAGA has successfully ingested approximately 92% of lead paint in the United States.
And they said, well, you know, parents don't care about test scores. What they really care about is woke, or what they really care about are boys in girls' bathrooms and things like this.
Woke activism. More of our voters are extremely...
You guys do care a lot about bathrooms. Can we admit that it's silly how much time you spend thinking about trans people in bathrooms? Can we admit that yet, or are we not there yet?
Concerned about what's being taught in schools.
Turn on the news, cable news, any time of the day. If it's about education, it's that same thing. Public school is a child of the devil. They're indoctrinating your kids.
The left is too focused on culture issues instead of actually teaching students how to
be honest,
read.
is there any culture issue that the left is focused on? Can we be honest, this isn't for the MAGA here, because you guys are just going to say what we're focused on. You don't know. I don't ever cover social issues. Rarely. There's no focus on social issues. It's Republicans focusing on social issues, and then Democrats, conservative or liberals, progressives respond to that. But we're not focused on social issues. I think you could probably argue that Democrats should maybe be a little more focused on social issues, that there are some social issues that need some attention. I think that's maybe part of the criticism. See, that's a perfect. Jimbo's perfect. Undocumented immigrants get better healthcare than you. See, they just hear something and they just repeat it. It's not even true. It's just not true. Undocumented immigrants don't get free healthcare here. It's crazy. But Jim showed up on a live and just said it. This is the most socially obsessed group of voters in my lifetime. You guys spend 80% of your time talking about trans people. It's crazy. I just don't think Democrats are doing that. I think it's projection.
And do math.
Wouldn't social issues include civil rights issues? Yeah, and I don't think Democrats do a good job focusing on civil rights issues. Yeah, I think it's one of those places I think they need to do a little bit better. I think that's a criticism.
At the federal level, the One Big Beautiful Bill includes a dollar-for-dollar tax credit for donations to groups funding private school scholarships.
The federal scholarship tax credit was passed in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Public school students are eligible for scholarships under this federal law, but it does contain federal dollars to underwrite.
Swish said, Dave meant to say, be meaner, Daddy. Meow. All right, Dave, I'll be a little meaner to you, you naughty little boy.
private school tuition as well, and that private school tuition piece would largely go to students who are already in private school to begin with, especially in states that don't have vouchers at all, like blue states and purple states.
Even though more than a dozen states now have some form of universal voucher program, voters consistently vote them down if given the chance.
They've never passed, ever. The same thing happened here in Arizona. The voters of Arizona.
Why are there books in the libraries about Charlie has two dads? Because gay people exist, you fucking lemon. Why do you care? Well, every time I see it, I get a boner and then I get pissed. I'm tired of walking into the school library, seeing those hot, juicy dads and thinking, I got to go home and have sex with a woman once every 6 months, and I got to picture her as a man. It's the only way I can stay hard. Meanwhile, these kids get to look at this every day. They're probably walking around just staring at it all day like I want to do. But I don't get to stare at it all day, so I'm mad about that. How about don't be a bitch? Jesus fucking Christ. Gay people exist. People have two dads. They write stories about it. There's books in the library about a kid who was raised by jungle animals. Does that work? You think Jungle Book's a real fucking story? Mowgli would have been eaten in like 12 seconds. No problem with that. Well, that's not reality. Sorry that gay people exist, bud. Sorry. You don't seem like the person who should be anywhere near elementary school library or any. I'm assuming you don't go near many libraries, but if there's kids around, I don't think you should be there. But I'm sorry about your confusing erections.
Voted against vouchers, but the Republican legislature got one extra vote and got it through in the middle of the night.
But voters are continuing to push back.
We have a voucher initiative that is gathering signatures.
Triggered again. Ron, that was funny and you fucking know it. You know I won that one, Ron. You know that.
Today, and what it's doing is putting some parameters around it. For example, if you make this amount of money, you can't use it. Or if you can't buy this, or you can't buy that.
If the initiative gets on the ballot and then passes in November, it would be the biggest reform of a voucher program yet.
The abuse of taxpayer dollars has to stop, and we need accountability in this program.
But in the last days of the legislature this year, Arizona Republicans put a constitutional amendment on the ballot that would effectively ban changes to the voucher program.
I smell fear in this bill. I sense politicians who know that the people of the state of Arizona are ready to take on the waste and the fraud and the abuse.
I've been telling the Republicans, if you guys want to save your skin,
based on male and female create life. Who cares? Who cares? If a man and a woman have anal sex, do they create life? Nope. Just like if a man and a man have anal sex, and just like on your anniversary when your wife puts on the strap on and stuffs it inside you. Yep. It's just basic biology. If you finish inside of an asshole, you're probably not going to have a child. Okay? Only one place that if you finish inside of is going to create a child. All right?
you need to put boundaries around this, because if it shows some
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. See, Tom has personal experience on this. He wants to tell you guys about that.
responsibility, some transparency.
Welcome, Corey Raid. Jesus Christ. Sorry, people coming in from the Corey Raid. I hope you knew who I was before Corey sent you here. I hope that wasn't shocking. That's crazy timing for you guys to show up. It might be for you or might not, but W. Corey, and you're welcome and sorry to everybody that just walked into that.
Some accountability.
But the future is unclear for many public schools.
Have you had to close any schools in your district?
It's not if, it's when and how many.
If you were standing in front of Arizona legislators, what would you say?
We are losing educators, we are losing families, public education is drowning, and ESA vouchers are not helping us. I worry about what my children's electives will be, what opportunities will they have.
It's real for you, Tom. I love that. Good for you, Tom. W. Tom in the chat for experimenting with his butthole. Good for you, Tom. Proud of you. It takes courage. It takes courage to tell the person you're with that you're interested in that. It takes courage to push through the initial pressure. And it took courage for you in this chat to say, like, hey, this is who I am. W. Tom in the chat.
What educational resources will they have by the time they get to high school? This is the future. Kids are literally the future. And if we can...
Talking about healthcare, man. Yeah. Look, that's mental health care. I see what you're saying. That's how you do your mental health. I'm with you, Tom. If that's what keeps your mental health in a good spot, we're all here for you. Nobody judges here. Great. There's a there's a spot in there that feels good for a reason. W. Buttstuff. W. Tom.
Continue to take money from them at this age. What kind of better future are we providing for them?
Hey folks, thanks for watching. And if you want more videos like this, like and subscribe to our channel. And if there are other stories that you think we should be covering, reach out to us at stories@moreperfectunion.us.
All right, we got left 25 minutes. Always, every time More Perfect Union puts out a video, it's a home run. I almost feel bad. Like, I do feel like I donated to them last week. I was like, I probably should donate. They're doing a lot of my work for me. I appreciate More Perfect Union. Make sure you guys on YouTube are subscribed to More Perfect Union. All right. I'm going to let you guys choose. I got one more video for till the end. I have either we can talk about Kash Patel's FBI spending, or we can talk about how big tech is faking their profits. Those are the two options for the rest of the day. Trudy said, W, Tom. Thank you, Trudy. Good for you, Tom. God, I love Tom. Thanks for being here, man. That was brave of you today. Very happy that you showed up. Patel, I figure you guys love drama. Nobody ever wants to talk about big tech faking their... Where's Illusion? Illusion, we lost, but I know if you're here, I know which one you wanted. Maybe you and I can like FaceTime later and talk about it. Pink said, thanks for standing up for libraries. You got it. We are pro-library here. And whoever it was that had two dads, I hope your two dads are fucking great dads. All right. This is... I've said this before. I've said this in the last couple weeks.
Questions around...
I got to tell you, there was not a news organization in the world that I liked watching less than MSNBC. MS Now is way better. I'm sure they make less money, but MS Now is substantially better than MSNBC was, and they're starting to be one of the few people that, like, I mean, they're not gonna hammer people on the left very often. Like, they're obviously biased. But their reporting has got, like, not only do they have really good, accurate reporting, but they have sources on top of sources on top of sources. So, yeah, they're biased. Yeah, they're on the left for all those Republicans. I'm not saying that they're not, but their reporting is good. And this now on Kash Patel, Dick Durbin and all the Republicans leadership. What's the Chuck Grassley? To have them finally turn on Kash Patel. That's saying something. I don't know what Kash Patel has on Donald Trump, or maybe Donald Trump just really likes his books. There's no question he's the worst FBI director we've ever had. He has been a catastrophic failure. I can't believe he wasn't the first person let go from this administration. We haven't seen him in a while, and that's probably just because in the summer people let their grass grow a little bit longer, so it's hard to find him. But apparently the people working for him for about the 800th time hate him. Yeah, no, sorry. The way I said that was weird. Dick Durbin and Chuck Grassley is what I was saying. Sorry. Dick Durbin and Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley's the Republican, but they're on his ass. Thanks. Sorry, I said that weird.
The questions surrounding Kash Patel's use of the FBI director title to apparently get special treatment during his lavish travels have reached a point where even Republicans who typically defend him are starting to demand answers. Patel has been under scrutiny by Democrats on the House and Senate Judiciary Committees who have received whistleblower accounts that Patel has been demanding special perks from Bureau employees across the country, like helicopter tours and jet ski excursions. You know, typical FBI director activities. And now our colleague Ken Delanian reports that those Democrats have gained a key GOP ally. MS Now has, quote, viewed a letter to Patel from Republican Senate Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley, demanding that Patel turn over information about his flights on FBI aircraft and about the FBI's purchase of BMW vehicles.
Why aren't we buying American? Wow, we buying German it could be the Nazis. Could be all the Nazis in office, actually. I didn't think about that, but there might be some sort of connection there. Buying BMWs. Chevrolet wasn't good enough. Ford's not good enough for Kash Patel. We had to go out and buy BMWs. Cool. They're just like trying to be Russia at this point.
Grassley's letter asks Patel, quote, for each trip where you used an FBI...
Still not as bad as the Democrat. Thanks, bud. Thanks, damn New York Yankee. Thank you for that opinion. It was super helpful.
Aircraft for personal travel. Have you reimbursed the FBI as required by law? If yes, please provide the records. Grassley acknowledged that FBI policy requires the director to fly in the FBI jet, even when traveling for personal reasons. But he said Congress deserves an accounting of the director's use of FBI aircraft to conduct an independent and objective review. The senator also, quote, asked the director in the letter to please explain why you decided to purchase BMW vehicles instead of Chevy Suburbans. MS Now reported back in December that Patel broke with long-standing precedent by directing the FBI.
I guess that's true. Most BMW SUVs are assembled in South Carolina, so that's good. Still German, but I was unaware of that. Who said that? Whoever said that, well done.
To purchase BMW cars for his use. Patel's spokesperson at the time said the move saved the government money, but the receipts have yet to be provided. Grassley joins the likes of Congressman Jamie Raskin and Senator Dick Durbin.
Listen, I know we joke about sternly worded letters, Bowsy. I'm with you, but it's also Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley is a sock puppet. If you ever watched Chuck Grassley, I don't even remember which committee he chairs, but if you ever watch him, that man doesn't say a word without somebody in his ear. He literally has no clue what's going on. So that means that this is a problem within the Republican Party. That means that there are plenty of people who are like, all right, Chuck, we're going to have to start talking about Kash Patel. That's how many whistleblowers there are at this point that even Chuck Grassley's like, come on, Kash. Literally, dude. Like, I sometimes say this to my daughter. My daughter basically doesn't have rules when she's with me. She's a good kid. She goes to bed on time. She says some absurd shit sometimes, but like, I'm her dad and I think that that's funny. She's nice to other people. Like, she just doesn't really cause any problems. So like, occasionally she'll give me pushback when I ask her to do something. And I'm like, I never ask you to do anything. Just like this one time this week, I asked you to do something. Can you just do it? And I feel like that's how Chuck Grassley feels about Kash Patel right now. Like, seriously, bro, we've let you do whatever the fuck you were drunk with the hockey team. Nobody knows why the fuck you were with the hockey team. You were drunk with the hockey team. We didn't say anything. You're at the UFC fights. We didn't say anything. You're covering up the Epstein files. We didn't say anything. You fucked up the Charlie Kirk investigation. We didn't say anything. You fuck up everything, and we don't say a word. Can you just stop using the FBI to take yourself on vacations, please? This is all we're asking for. That's it. Like, that's the letter at this point from Chuck Grassley. For Chuck Grassley to write a letter to Kash Patel, he's got to be like, motherfucker.
Democrats on the Judiciary Committees who wrote their own letter to Patel this week, stating that they, quote, appreciate Chairman Grassley raising these concerns. As for Patel's luxury vacations, they write, quote, your jet setting...
Yeah, he's been very successful. How so, the Strick? Tell me how successful he has been. What has Kash Patel done that he's been very successful at? Please don't say the top 10 thing. Don't say that thing that he always says, where he says we tracked down 8 of the top 10 most wanted, because he made that list after he caught people. And if you look at their crimes, it didn't make sense that they were in the top 10. He just said that because he's a fucking dipshit, and he wanted to be able to say that in front of Congress. Okay, love you.
And the lack of justification for these trips are out of control. This is
I
not
said,
the
how is he 92 and an Iowa senator? I don't know, man. I love Iowa. Shout out Iowa. I love it, but you do have some explaining to do about Chuck Grassley.
Of a committed and faithful public servant, especially when entrusted with ensuring the safety of almost 350 million Americans. The FBI has not responded to MS Now's request for comment. Kash Patel facing bipartisan scrutiny for his jet setting around the globe is where we start today with the reporter who...
Iowa people live forever. It might be corn. Maybe it's corn. Maybe that's what you got to do.
Story. Justice and intelligence reporter Ken Delanian Also with
Casey, you know I love Iowa. My favorite place I ever lived was the Quad Cities, and I lived in Davenport, Iowa. I love Iowa, but like you do need to talk. You got to talk to us about Joni Ernst. You got to talk to us about Chuck Grassley. I love your state. You've been fucking up a little bit.
Former assistant special agent in charge at the FBI.
No, Quad Cities is not a college area. You're thinking of Iowa City. I don't. There's a really prominent. Is it like a chiropractor school? I think it's called Palmer. That's in Davenport, but no, there's not like a big college in Quad Cities.
And national security and intelligence analyst Michael Feinberg. And joining me at the table, law professor at Hofstra University, the author of the Substack, Who Decides, James Sample is here. Ken, rare to see Republicans questioning the conduct of anyone in this administration. Take us through your reporting.
Yeah, that's right, Alicia. And one update, the FBI did respond after the story was published. I got a detailed email from FBI spokesman Ben Williamson taking issue with the allegations in the letter from the Democrats.
Iowa sucks. How dare you? Davenport food is so bad? Yeah, probably. I don't remember the food being particularly great.
And answering in a very detailed way the questions that Chuck Grassley was raising, which I found interesting because he provided answers that he didn't provide to us when we first asked about, for example, the BMW SUVs back in December. So about those SUVs, he now says, which he didn't say back then, that they had originally been purchased by the State Department and they were sitting idle in a warehouse, and the FBI...
Ames has Iowa State, Des Moines has Drake, Cedar Falls has University of Northern Iowa. What doesn't Iowa City have? Doesn't Iowa City have a college? Am I mixing that up? Sorry to stop that. Sorry. Oh, yeah, University of Iowa is in Iowa City. Yeah. Okay.
Kash Patel decided to purchase them, and that the taxpayers actually saved money, $270,000 per vehicle, he claims, as compared to the armored Chevy Suburbans that they usually use to drive the FBI director around. Now, I don't have any documents that validate that claim, but that's what he's saying. And what's interesting is that Chuck Grassley, who's the Republican chairman of the Judiciary Committee, is demanding and asking for those documents. And he, unlike the Democrats, he has
I can't believe there's so many people from Iowa here. I honestly didn't know you had this many people connected to the internet. This is shocking to me. I thought it was only in a couple places in Iowa. I love this. Good to see all you Iowans here. Welcome.
To get them, and it seems to be having an effect on how the FBI is responding. So Grassley's concerned about those BMWs. He also is asking a series of questions about Kash Patel's use of the FBI jet, which is essentially an executive jet. It's a private jet, the kind of jets that CEOs fly around the country on. It's a luxurious travel experience. And Kash Patel, the FBI, pointed out that he's required by policy to fly on that jet for security reasons anywhere he goes, even on personal trips. And that's true. But what the Democrats are saying is that he's obviously taking advantage of this rule.
This is one more time, though. So if you're the FBI director, you have to fly in the private jet. That's policy. And then you have to reimburse the government at the price of what you would pay to fly coach. Good deal. But Kash Patel, before he was FBI director, used to consistently go after Chris Wray for using the jet. And he's like, we need to ground these private jets. Like, why is Chris Wray on a jet all the time? Why is he always flying somewhere? And he wasn't flying near as much as Kash Patel. So it's one thing to say, like, he's kind of within the rules, like they ask you not to abuse it. But this is also the guy who was like making money, grifting, and saying, like, if I'm the FBI director, I'll shut it down day one. I'll turn it into, what did he say, like a museum of the deep state. And I'm not going to be flying on private jets all the time. I've got work to do. And then he doesn't do anything. He just flies on jets all the fucking time.
To essentially attach vacation.
Where's the Minnesota, California fraud story? We covered those when they happened forever ago. Shut the get rid of that person. The original Tyler Durden. You have to say I'm sorry for saying that, because it's stupid, or else you have to leave for the rest of the day.
To these official trips. And we all saw in Milan when he was in the locker room after the men's hockey team won the Olympics, that was allegedly an official trip, but he had a lot of personal time there. And he claims, Kash Patel does, that he's reimbursing the government by policy for the cost of a coach fare for all of these trips, which is what the rules require. But
that's what you want to see out of the FBI director, just oompa loompa doompa-dee drunk. That's what we need more of.
Democrats say it's a matter of he's exploiting this, and they question whether he's actually creating official trips to sort of as an excuse to go on vacation. They're actually saying that he may have opened an office in Wellington, New Zealand, just as an excuse to go to Australia and New Zealand. Now, again, he's denying that. But
Yeah, why do we have an FBI office in Wellington, New Zealand? I didn't know we did that. What's going on over there in New Zealand? We got any New Zealand folks here? What the fuck are you guys doing? How come we had to send our FBI over there? Indiana, Idaho, Illinois, all the I states here, Jay. I love that. Ty said saved $250,000 per vehicle buying the BMWs. Yeah, not likely, right? And he needed an office closer to his hobbit hole. Oh my God. I needed to be closer to Mordor. It's fucking gold. Who said that? That is a walk-off. That's an absolute walk-off. Who was that? That's so good.
they're saying that whistleblowers are telling them that when he goes on some of these trips, he's demanding that FBI personnel set up, special excursions for him, including jet skiing and a helicopter tour. Again, he is denying that today through an email to us, but that's what the Democrats are hearing from whistleblowers. And I hear a lot of concerns, I have to say, inside the FBI about just what this looks like, about that they can't imagine a Robert Mueller or a Chris Wray doing this kind of thing. Even though they flew on the jet, they sometimes flew to their vacation homes. They didn't do the kinds of things that Kash Patel is doing.
Excursions, yeah. Is he going and starting wars in the Middle East? Is that one of those excursions?
Michael Feinberg, have you heard those same concerns, and what does it mean for the FBI, even just the appearance of impropriety?
It means that the organization is going to be taken.
Maybe Valhalla is in New Zealand. We searched for Charlie. He's with Charlie. That's what he meant. See you in Valhalla, brother. Gets over there. Hey, Charlie! Charlie puts him on his knee, bounces him. It's good to see you, buddy. Cash is like, oh, snuggles in. It's adorable.
Seriously by the American public. And that's just not a reputational harm. The FBI is only as successful as its ability to talk to people on the street, whether victims of crime, witnesses to horrific events, or even putative subjects themselves, and establish rapport and trust and know that the conversations and interactions are going to be taken with the utmost seriousness. But if every other day there's a story about the FBI director, trying to leverage jet skis out of a business trip, that's going to bounce back poorly on the workforce who's out there actually dealing with the community. And, I just have to add, there's a real irony here in Chuck Grassley getting upset about this, because Kash Patel was not a shoo-in for this position. There was a lot of chatter, as you all know, that he might not make it through confirmation because in most Washington circles, including conservative ones, he was not viewed as a very serious person. But after the preliminary meeting prior to his...
Go to Europe and stay there. Yeah, brother, we'd like to, but this economy is fucking dog shit and we can't afford to go there. A lot of us would like to go to Europe and stay there. It would be cool. It would be much better than living under this dumb fuck administration. But unfortunately, you guys have made things very expensive. Plus, we're still paying all your bills. If you send all the blue staters away from here, you guys are going to go bankrupt immediately. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But if you want, somebody said, pay me. If you want to start, you're probably super rich, right? You're like every other Republican here. You're retired, and now you just make smart investments, right? That's why you're here in the middle of the day because you're all rich. Why don't you just pay for a few people to move to Europe? Raise your hand if you would like a dipshit McRich ass to pay for you to go to Europe, and then maybe you can select 5 people that you're going to pay to go live in Europe, and you can choose at random.
Confirmation hearings, Chuck Grassley effusively endorsed him and said that he was just the person to help reform the FBI and restore its reputation with the American public.
Thank you, Tanya. Happy Friday to you as well.
Perhaps this effort now...
Can somebody explain to Tom what I just said about why people don't just leave? I just explained this, Tom. Goddamn, you're getting dumber, bud. I don't know how you're getting dumber, but it's crazy. You're dumber than you were earlier.
To suss out the jet issue is some form of a mea culpa, but we wouldn't be here today were it not for Grassley.
Well, Ken, Senator Grassley said back in April of Patel, "I've never had an FBI director cooperate with me as much as Kash Patel has cooperated with me on my request for information, my request for documents." You made the point to me earlier,
Thank
Ken,
you, Jennifer, for the Antifa dues.
and I think it's a good one. This was not a letter that Chuck Grassley intended to make public. He was trying to thread the needle of maintaining his relationship with Patel, perhaps in the interest of actually extracting the information that has apparently now been shared with you. If they are sharing this with you, do you think it is one step closer to their sharing the same information, perhaps with the receipts we also desperately want to see with?
Yeah, this is the other part of the story that is frustrating. How come they hide all their corruption? Why are they hiding these whistleblower receipts? This is what eventually got Tulsi Gabbard fired, is that Tulsi Gabbard was sitting on whistleblower reports that were required to get to Congress, and Trump kept telling her not to send them to Congress, even though by law she's required to send them to Congress, and eventually she did, and then she got fired. The amount of cover-up, like, this administration covers up everything, and it's because of, like, dipshit cheerleaders. Like, we love this type of corruption. If you don't have the money, just stay at this great country that you're in. Yeah, that's what we said, Tom. I said that people don't have enough money to move. So we're going to stay here and we're going to try and make this country better despite your best efforts.
Senator Grassley.
Well, to be clear, Alicia,
What am I going to do when Marco Rubio comes for me next term? Probably the same thing I do when your dad comes for me. I put my hand out and then he gives me $50 and I go on to the next MAGA person who's closeted. Same shit every time. I'm used to it, Tom.
Chuck Grassley's office did not share this letter with me. I'm not sure they
Stacey
intended
said,
this
have a
letter
great weekend. Thank you, Stacey. You too.
to be made public. In fact, they took steps to keep it secret, which is interesting because normally these kinds of requests are made public. And Grassley's a really interesting figure because he does, for years, he's been around forever, right? And for years, he had a habit of and a reputation of conducting bipartisan.
I call him Little Marco the Volcano, the slow-moving volcano.
And vigorous oversight and being a steward of the taxpayer dollar. But in recent years, he's become so partisan and such a defender of Donald Trump and Kash Patel and everything the Justice Department and the FBI has done that it was surprising to see that he's actually asking critical questions here. But he points out in the letter that he has a bipartisan history of doing this, and he feels like it's part of the role of Congress to oversee this kind of spending. And so he's doing it. Whether he'll actually follow through and demand these documents and then make them public after or have a hearing or that kind of oversight remains to be seen, I think.
We're not saying, you say, how can you claim to have such a terrible time here when people are fighting again? Newsflash, people are not, like, all-time low people trying to get into this country. Now is not the time for you to make that claim. People aren't coming in. People don't want to come here. Right? We're not the destination anymore. But again, like, this is what you guys do when you don't have an argument. Things aren't going super well here, so let's make it better. And we're like, let's make it better. And you're like, no, let's keep it the same, and you guys should shut up. What in God's name are you thinking we should keep the same right now? You want everything to be unaffordable? Let's just keep doing this. This seems to be working. Everything's getting worse, but let's keep it exactly the same.
But this is the first step.
If there were actually, James Sample, proper oversight, which, as you've made the point to me, only possible if there is bipartisan interest in that oversight, especially at a time when you have Republicans in control of the Senate, is there then legal liability for Kash Patel if he is found to have misused government assets?
Potentially minimal legal liability. So, for example, the cost of coach airfare, which is what you're required to reimburse when you use the jet.
There's no factor of this administration worth keeping. Yeah, true. Not a single bit of this administration is worth keeping. Marco Rubio is legitimately the best person in in the MAGA administration, and it's by far. And with Marco, it's just like, yeah, he's just a generic, like he's a George Bush Republican, and somehow a George Bush Republican who can complete sentences is like your all-star.
personal purposes. But politically, the optics here matter more than the law. The politics matter more than the law. And there's a template, right? In Trump 1.0, Tom Price and Ryan Zinke lost jobs for essentially turning public service into private profiteering and sort of junket category. And so I think here the tell is not the use of the jet. The tell is not the BMWs, although that is remarkable reporting. I'm convinced there are about 6 Kendallanians, not one. The tell here is that the letterhead comes from Chuck Grassley, and that makes it meaningful.
Michael Feinberg, in the letter that Congressman Raskin and Senator Durbin write of Patel, they write, quote, demoted personnel in Brussels because they failed to ensure you were adequately entertained, stoking fear among rank and file agents that they must provide your demanded perks or face termination. Concerns and strains prompted by the prioritization of your personal entertainment on international trips may have led to the resignation of the head of the FBI's international operations this year. There is, of course, Michael Feinberg, just on its face what this all means. There's also the extent to which his request.
No, just please just keep in mind, Republicans who are definitely not addressing any of this. You're just spouting off things about communists. You guys, your brains are fucked. They're fucking fried, man. I used to. It's too hot now, but. Near my house, like there's where I live, you can't outside, you can't participate in the Lord's lettuce, and so I have to go outside the gates to this table. And a lot of times there's like unhoused people at this table, and sometimes I'll participate in the Lord's lettuce with them. But sometimes they are on something far, far stronger, and they are saying words and stories that I don't understand, and they have no idea that I'm even there. So you know kind of what I'm talking about there. That's what it's like watching Republicans in the chat. Like, are you not catching any of this? This is all of this reporting here is Republicans saying that Kash Patel is corrupt, is abusing his office, is destroying the FBI, is causing career officials to quit, that he's wasting money and making the FBI less efficient. And every single thing that they have read is legitimately the Republicans criticizing Kash Patel. And your brains are so fucking broken that all of you are talking about Democrats, communists. There's one dude in here that's obsessed with Kamala Harris. Like, what happened to you guys? Is it just because of me? Like, if you hear criticism, you just change the subject? You're just like, I'm just not going to talk about any of this stuff. I'm just going to ignore it. It's bizarre. I'm showing you Republican reporting here. You want to pay attention?
Yes, the use of resources begins to muddle the focus and where resources inside the FBI should actually be going.
I would push back on the notion that there is any focus at FBI headquarters right now, aside from carrying water for wherever Donald Trump is.
There you go, Dallas. Dallas goes, you're a clown. Thanks, bud. Yeah. Are you listening to this? I don't like you. You make me feel uncomfortable. Thanks, bud.
Stephen Miller's policy priorities of the day are. When I was in the FBI for over a decade and a half, there was actually a really rigorous process for most of that time where we prioritized what threats were most salient, where we needed the most intelligence analysis, where our shortfalls were in terms of facilities and physical stock, how we were going to get things as quotidian as ammunition for both training and duty carrying. I hear nothing from my friends who are still there.
Danny, damn New York Yankee. We're still talking about Kash Patel. We're not talking about Democrats or embezzling money. We're talking about Kash Patel. Kash Patel. Okay? Maybe that was the problem. Maybe we didn't explain what this video was. Kash Patel is being accused by the people that work for him and Republicans of abusing his position. So this is Republicans criticizing Kash Patel. Okay, so we're not talking about Democrats here. We're not talking about Kamala Harris. We're not talking about embezzlement. We're talking about Kash Patel. He's the FBI director. And these people that are criticizing him are members of the Republican Party. Okay. Got that now? So, not talking about Trump either there, Shelty. Okay. Kash, Kash, Patel, Patel.
Accept how all those processes have fallen apart and how where previous directors, they obviously felt some sort of affinity for the president who appointed them. They maintained a brick wall of propriety between how they conducted themselves officially and whatever those personal feelings were. The fact that Chuck Grassley and Kash Patel have this direct line of communication.
Kash Patel. Promoti. Kash Patel. FBI. Not insider trading. FBI abusing funds. Kash Patel. Okay? I got you, bud.
That you quoted earlier has not redounded to the benefit of the workforce. In fact, that pipeline of communication has been used almost...
Promoti. Kash Patel. This is what we're talking about right now, right? So this isn't avoiding. I think maybe you're avoiding what's on the screen right now. Kash Patel.
Exclusively to tar the names of FBI agents who investigated Trump and then fire them. So
if Trump gets birthright citizenship taken away, can Kash and Rubio even stay? It's a good question. Shane said, hey, Yankee trader, more Republicans have been convicted for embezzlement. God damn it, Shane.
Buying that anybody in this entire situation is really behaving as an honest broker.
All right. Well, you guys, you tried your very best, and I appreciate that about you. And that takes us to 1. Perfect. Perfect time. Jen, did I miss any comments? I got Stacy. I got Tanya. Those are the last ones you sent me.
Let me double check, but remember, you're going to play that one thing for Casey.
Oh, yeah. Casey wants me to play this. So shout out. Oh, and Casey's going to piss off people, too, because Casey makes some people mad. So the fact that Casey suggested this will make some Republicans grumpy. All right.
That's it for Venmo.
Okay. Pull this up.
Iowa State Fair, which opens next month, they've just released a list of the food you can expect. Corn dogs, of course, since along with being at least 35 and a natural-born citizen, the requirements for being president now include nibbling on one. But this fair is much more than corn dogs. Past years have helped popularize the entire food on a stick idea. Quote, Americana in its most portable, edible form, according to the good people.
Is this in response to people saying that Iowa didn't have good food? Is that what this is? Casey, is that this response to that? Fuck you. We got all the best food on a stick. I love this. Austin Sophia said, wow, MAGA needs some hearing aids. It is?
Eater.
Okay.
And in addition to fried Oreos and anything else that can be fried or wrapped in bacon, you'll find it there. And while much of America has indeed moved toward eating clean, whatever that means, they're going in a different direction out there in Iowa with 80 or so brand new foods. Among them, Star-Spangled Swine. That's pork belly and red soda glaze with blue and white honey crystals served on a stick, of course. For vegetarians, there's the Flintstones-themed Bedrock Twist, a deep-fried pretzel topped with fruity pebbles. But most of the fare is for carnivores who might like the Liberty Shrimp Melt stuffed bread with shrimp Alfredo, or the Porky Parm Gnocchi featuring sausage tossed in a Parmesan sauce with
Where's that shrimp coming from? You got fresh shrimp there in Iowa?
the pesto drizzle, or the caviar and chicken nuggets, self-explanatory. Corn dog fans can try a peanut butter and jelly version this year. And for dessert, a butter-dipped ice cream cone.
The fuck out of here. Butter-dipped ice cream. Has anybody had it?
Exactly what it sounds like. Some people will tell you there's nothing new under the sun. Those people have never been to Iowa.
Goddamn right.
Iowa's
That's incredible. Caviar nuggets. Yeah, butter dipped ice cream. I don't know about that one. Well, I guess that makes sense. It would create because if you warm butter with the ice cream, it probably makes like a slimy. Oh, that coating must be awful. It's not like a crispy like chocolate coating. But again, Chuck Grassley's 92 years old, so maybe they figured it out there in Iowa. All right. I think I got everything. Let me double check. That's it. We did it. 5 days. I made it all 5 days this week. I didn't cancel a single show this week in the middle of the summer. So, fuck yeah, we did it. Guys, I'll see you all next on Monday, bright and early, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time. That's when we do it. Until I see you guys on Monday, though, do your best to go outside and touch grass. And if you can't get outside and touch grass, might I recommend smoking grass? Before you go outside, reach down, find your bootstraps, pull yourself up by those bootstraps, and make sure you have a plan to put those boots on the ground. But before you do, look in the mirror, say something nice about yourself, drink a lot of water, and take some water with you because it's hot out there. And be nice to the people that you're around. Say something nice to somebody that you love. But most importantly, love yourself. And until I see you guys bright and early again Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time right here on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool. And have a great summer.